anybody, but I heard the most beautiful voice over here. Who was, and everybody will point, she won't point it out, but somebody will point out who she was. Was it her? It wasn't Roger, was it you? Oh my goodness, I think we have our O Canada performer for next year. We switch it up every year, so we're going to get your name. So again, thank you to Duncan. And we have some we always have special guests at this event. We have a very special guest. But I would ask that you all hold your applause until I introduce them all. The Honourable Brian Gallant, Premier of the province. Oh, go ahead and clap. I think that's worth it. The Honourable Brian Gallant, Premier of New Brunswick, we're honoured that you're here in honour of these students. It means a lot to us, and it certainly means a lot to them. So thank you so much. We know your schedule is crazy, so we really appreciate you being here. And the Honourable Stephen Horseman, no stranger to this event. Responsible for military affairs and the regional minister for Greater Fredericton. When usually Mr. Horseman is here giving remarks and bringing greetings on behalf of the province, on behalf of the Premier, I usually say, if you want something done, get a busy person to do it. And with his lengthy title, it always is appropriate that I introduce him that way. Pam Lynch may or may not be in our audience tonight. Pam, yes, Pam. She's a staple in our audience. We love having you here, Pam. Jeff Carr. I know David Kuhn is here because I ran into David Kuhn, and yes, absolutely. Rebecca Butler-Goddard, representing Matt DeCourcy, federal MP for Fredericton. His Worship Mike O'Brien, the Mayor of the City of Fredericton. And Chief Candace Hall. If Angela Atquin is in the audience. Angela was a Kingswood Turnaround Achievement recipient in our very first ceremony, and she's now working at Leo Hayes High.
As a middle.
You corrected me last year, didn't you?
No, you gotta say the right shoulder this year.
As a First Nations educational support worker?
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you again. And Brian Johnson, of course, the president of Kingswood. I do like when we clap every time. I'm not going to say hold the applause anymore. I like when we clap. Catherine Blaney, acting superintendent of Anglophone West District. Catherine, I've not had the pleasure of meeting you, so welcome. And Gardner McDougall, our guest speaker, UND Varsity Reds coach. And last but certainly not least, again, this event wouldn't be the event it is without David McTimoney, the principal of Summerhill School. So before we get things officially started, I just have a few housekeeping announcements to make. The washrooms are located outside the back door, and then just turn right, and both ladies and men's washrooms are there. Feel free to come up and take pictures by all means. This is a proud moment for your sons, your daughters, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, but just make sure that you crouch down so that you don't block the view of anybody in behind you. And lastly, please turn off your cell phones. And I want to thank very sincerely the media, some who are present here tonight, but more importantly, I think, how many of you heard the interview on CBC Radio this morning on Information Morning? It was very emotional. So I want to thank the CBC. They do a really great job promoting this event, and we appreciate that. And I hadn't had an opportunity to check the Gleaner, but the Gleaner often does something as well. So thank you to all media, just in case I'm missing somebody. And thank you to the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards Committee for all their hard work in organizing this event. You know, I think the organization of the event starts the day after the event because it's huge. And I just want to say that their names are listed in your program, but I would also ask each one of them to please stand and be duly recognized for their hard work. So most of them are at the registration table. I want everybody to see you because this round of applause is for you and all of the hard work that you put into this event. an event of this caliber doesn't happen overnight. It takes a small army, so we appreciate all that you've put into this event to make it the yearly success that it is. And last, but certainly not least, thank you, parents, grandparents. Oh, see, I'm already starting to get teary-eyed. Thank you, parents, grandparents, guardians, teachers, guidance counselors for helping make this night special and possible. I'm going to stop right there because you are the guardian angels among us. According to Wikipedia, a guardian angel is an angel assigned to protect and guide a particular person. So you play the most important role relative to this night of celebration. You are the ones who stand watch over our kids outside of any limelight. Well, tonight we want to shine the light on you. Please stand. Every parent, every grandparent, every guardian, every teacher, every guidance counselor. Honestly, this night is as much about you as it is about the kids that you're going to see up here with me on this stage. Stand up and be recognized. And wave out. So we've just seen so many of you stand, anyone who had played a role in the turning around of a life. No small achievement. And I just, again, want to thank you for that. And ladies and gentlemen, we are very pleased, as I mentioned, to have the Premier of New Brunswick here tonight. So please welcome the Honourable Brian Gallant, bringing greetings on behalf of the Government of New Brunswick.
What an inspiring night. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of tonight's festivities and celebration. It is really great to see the young people that were up here who I know should be very proud and feeling very good about themselves tonight. And I certainly have no doubt that all of their family and friends certainly feel the same way for those that are able to be here with us tonight. Before I get into my remarks, I do want to take a moment to thank a few people for their presence. I am going to be naming a few people over again that you may have already heard, but Chief Candace Paul, thank you very much for your presence. Mayor O'Brien, thank you very much for being here. My colleagues from the legislature, David Kuhn, Jeff Carr, Pam Lynch, Deputy Premier Horstman, thank you for being here. Rebecca Butler-Goddard and her husband, Kurt, who I know quite well, thank you for your presence here tonight. And certainly want to take a moment to thank the organizers yet again, and more specifically to thank the sponsors, every single one of them, but obviously want to signal out Kingswood. What a phenomenal show of support in what they do here for this event. So please give them a big round of applause. And I want to thank every single one of you that is here tonight. As Rose mentioned, who I think is doing a great job as MC, by the way, so let's give her a round of applause. As she mentioned, every one of you that is here is because you want to support somebody that is receiving the Turnaround Achievement Award tonight. You want to support them, and I bet you've been supporting them for quite some time, and you've been helping them. And if there's something that I've learned in my life, is that if we're able to accomplish something, it's because we have the support of our friends, our family, our loved ones. So I thank every single one of you that is here tonight, and people that I'm sure that was making a difference for these young people for many weeks, months, and years that were unable to be here. I can tell you that my family is, I think, a great example of what we're seeing here tonight. We are seeing here tonight community getting together, working together to overcome challenges and to seize opportunities. And I'm reminded often when I get to see an inspiring night like tonight of my mother's family. My mother is a Schulten, which was a Dutch family that came to New Brunswick in 1952. They left Holland after the war. They came here, they couldn't speak a word of English or French, they virtually had no money in their pockets, and my grandparents came here with 17 kids. That produced 72 first cousins for me. So yeah, 3 or 4 of you are my cousins and you just don't know it. But it was because they chose a province and a country, and I would even add a region, because they actually came to Minto, New Brunswick, and ended up settling. Well, all right, Minto's in the house, all right. And they settled in Fredericton and in Greater Fredericton. And because they had chosen these communities, they got the support that they desperately needed when they first got here. So I am just so honored to be Premier of the province that welcomed my mother's family, and also Premier of a province that is celebrating the young people that we have before us who definitely deserve to be celebrated. A couple other quick points that I want to make before I leave the stage. Education is the key. To the young people that are here, I hope you've tasted it already, and if not, I hope to inspire you to continue down the path of pursuing education. It really is such an incredible key to the future of our province, to the future of our communities, our families, and to our future as individuals. Education is the best investment we can make to grow our economy as a province, and it also happens to be the best social equalizer, the best way to ensure that everybody can have the best quality of life possible and reach their full potential. I want to take a moment to thank the recipients, not only for what they're doing here tonight in terms of celebrating with us, but what you're implicitly doing here tonight is also telling your stories. And that's going to inspire other people. And it's going to inspire them to do what they can to reach their full potential. So if I have an ask of you all, the recipients tonight, if I have an ask of you, it would be that you continue to have the courage to tell your story, to tell other people who may be going through similar things or may be going through troubles of their own about what you've done to overcome some of those challenges that you may have faced and to be the people that you are today. And those are people that you should be very proud of being. And last but not least, I want to say, I want to leave you with a quote. It's a quote I quote too often, but it's for a reason, because I think it reminds us that we can all really make a difference. And I want to say this in this room because I know it's filled with people that have made a difference, either in the community or in someone's life, most likely a lot of the young people that are here before us. So it's a quote by Margaret Mead, and it goes like this: "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has." So you can all make a difference for your community, your families, the province, and the country. You can all even make a difference for the world. So aim high, work hard, and I have no doubt that with the perseverance that you've shown over the last little while, if you continue to do that, you will all accomplish great things. Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Such a great orator. I think he's totally thrown me off my game. It's a hard act to follow. So I'm going to take a little break and we're going to show a video instead. I'd like to show you some video highlights, some moments from past Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award ceremonies, and you're going to need your Kleenex for this too. There is such a tribute to the kids who are receiving these awards. They have turned their lives around dramatically from some experiences that we would never imagine in our own lives.
I think they're doing an amazing thing. It shows that that there is somebody out there who actually cares about good people and people who are trying to be good and trying to make their own way. It really helps.
On a given afternoon 20 years ago, two gentlemen came into my office to talk about this new initiative that they experienced in Florida. So Ernie McFadgen and Brian Johnson were so excited about this Turnaround Achievement Award program that they wanted to introduce it to the school district.
It was because of these inspirational stories of students that have had very difficult times and have turned their lives around. And so that was extremely moving. They were helping kids of many varieties get recognized for turning their lives around, kids that were going down the wrong path, and we just thought that would be a wonderful thing for this community.
I've not really made a complete turnaround so far. I'm just kind of, not doing
Every celebration that I've attended to see the pride, not only in the students but in their parents and families, and to me that's such a boost of confidence that can help propel them into bigger and better things, not only in future years at school, but also after they've finished high school.
My name is Angie Aquin. I first got involved 20 years ago when I was one of the first recipients of the Turnaround Achievement Award.
She came over to me and she told me she was a first-year recipient and remembered it well and how important it was for her. And now she's a counselor in the school system here in Fredericton. And so we both were in tears and hugged. And that's how important it is to them.
And for someone to actually get to the point where they can say, I am not going to continue on the road that I've been. I'm going to turn my life around, and I'm going to start down the road that I need to be on. That's a tremendous decision, and that young man or woman needs all the support and all the encouragement we can give. They deserve so much credit.
I just really had some hard times, and these guys have been there through the whole thing, and without them I don't think I'd be up here today. So just thank you guys. I love you guys all.
Over the years, you have learned to make the best choices.
There are a lot of times when teachers don't get the recognition they deserve, and this is one example where we have a chance to really celebrate some of the great professionals that we have in our system.
I think anyone, especially anyone who has ever volunteered, wants to make a difference. And when you can make a difference in the life of another human being, you want to step up to the plate. And that's exactly what Kingswood has done.
You've learned a lot in the turnaround you've gone through, and to pay it forward and help others, because at the end of the day, helping others could be the greatest legacy of your life.
It's not even for the recognition. You know what? They see the difference that it's made in their staff, in their classmate, and they want to have the same change in their life, and wouldn't you?
If I hadn't been able to turn it around, I'm scared I would have been one of those statistic First Nation women. And now I've broken through a lot of those barriers, and I've been able to stand tall and be proud. And I couldn't imagine life without it being like it is now.
So I certainly do think that video gives you a real sense of the emotion that is going to fill this room later tonight, if it hasn't already done so. At this time, though, I would like to welcome Catherine Blaney, the Acting Superintendent of Anglophone West School District, to bring greetings on behalf of the school district. And let's do the two lines.
They're new, so they needed to have a pick-me-up with Kleenex. So thank you for the invitation. I am very honored to bring greetings from Anglophone School District West. As a former teacher and school principal, it is always satisfying for me to see students who work to reach their true potential and create opportunities for a bright and successful future. We want our young people to believe in themselves. Over the years, more than 900 students from 22 schools have participated in this event, with $354,000 in scholarships awarded. That's impressive. That is a very impressive record. These awards recognize students who've made important and sometimes big changes in their lives. They have often turned struggle into victories or changed the negative into positive. They are the main benefactors of their own success. But the education system and the community will also benefit from their contributions they will make along the way. They are inspiring role models for their peers. They are a harvest of achievement for their teachers, and they are the pride of their families. As they grow, they will be the builders and leaders of tomorrow. Tonight we are celebrating the special accomplishment of 24 students. We are celebrating their individual decisions not to give up, as well as their effort, commitment, and perseverance to do better. We are also celebrating the support they have received from teachers, family members, volunteers, mentors, and friends. By working together in this way, we are affirming the true spirit of education, to impart knowledge, assist our youth in facing personal challenges, and help them redirect their lives so they may lead and enjoy a successful career and life path in the future. Congratulations to all the students receiving this award tonight. And congratulations also to the Kingswood Organizing Committee, teachers, family, and community business who care enough to make a real difference in the lives of these deserving students. Thanks.
I'm just loving the speeches tonight. The words that are coming out of like perseverance, celebration, like this is what this night is about, and it's just going to get better. I always want to jump ahead and share so many things with you, but I'm going to follow the script because it is really easy to jump ahead. Now, this may come as a surprise to some of you, but we also honor teachers tonight. And introducing the Kingswood Educator of the Year Award, whereby we recognize a couple of teachers who have played a significant role in the lives of students. This is definitely where I want to go off script because we're going to talk a lot about the contribution that teachers make, but when you think of it and when you hear these stories that you're going to hear tonight, heart-wrenching stories, I just think what better career to choose than a teacher when at the end of the day you can say that you made a difference in the life of a child. Like that is hugely significant. One teacher from each of the Fredericton and Oromocto education centers has been selected to receive this award. As I call your name, if you would please come to the podium to accept your award. We will begin with, and I wasn't surprised when I was fed this information earlier in the week, Randy Smith, teacher at Oromocto High School. And we will give the honor of presenting the Educator of the Year Award to Catherine Blaney. Catherine. Now, Mr. Randy Smith is a veteran teacher and youth advocate. This year marks the 31st as a public school teacher. At the conclusion of this year, Randy will hand in his school keys and join the ranks of other retired colleagues in the pursuance of more of his favorite pastimes. Mr. Smith, may I call you Randy? Randy is an energetic and inspiring role model to young people. He is the reason why many of the students at Oromocto High School get involved in extracurricular activities, and that we all know can make a huge difference in self-esteem. The list goes on. He's a strong believer in a well-rounded student. He's an advocate for many students, and there are countless numbers of students who have Mr. Smith to thank for pulling them out of their shell and giving them the confidence to succeed out of the school and outside of the school. Mr. Smith is renowned for his commitment to extracurricular activities. He's been an outstanding leader in starting up and coaching many school sports teams in the Oromocto area over the years, including hockey and field hockey, basketball and cross country, soccer, softball, track and field, and wrestling. Randy's widely known for his long-term involvement with the OHS Wrestling Club. He's coached at Atlantic and National Wrestling Championships, and he has an impressive resume of officiating experience at all levels. Randy's career accomplishments are too numerous to detail in this brief summary. He's been instrumental in helping many students achieve their goals. His unwavering dedication to students, in a word, is awesome. The time and dedication that he gives so freely to students is inspiring, and Oromocto High School is pleased to nominate Randy Smith as a deserving recipient of the Kingswood Educator of the Year Award. Randy Smith.
I'd like to thank Kingswood for this, for hosting this awards, and speaking to one of our award winners, and I asked him if he knew how important this was. And he said, "Oh, I kind of had the idea." I said, "You just don't know. I spent 7 years in high school, and I was probably 40 years old working at Stanford in the summer before I realized I have any game. And you kids are getting these awards, they're telling you, you've got game. And you don't have to waste 15 years worrying you don't. So you take that award and you put it someplace, and whenever you have a bad day, you just look at it and say, man, I'm all that and a bag of chips to boot. I have 3 groups to thank of thousands that allowed me to do this. First, I'd like to thank the educators who think that I'm worthy of having this. Anytime you get an award that someone as great as Larry Wood gets, like, that's humbling. I'd like to thank the 23 principals that worked with me. 3 of them, Charlie Holleran, the late Dale Thorburn, and Dr. Sharon Crabb, all wanted to be in their school. And 20 of them took the job knowing they were getting me. Finally, and most importantly, I'd like to thank my family. My daughter, who's here, an outstanding teacher at Sunny Brae in Moncton, tough school. Her mother are just such great educators that, like, I just look and I think the children are so lucky to have them. And my wife, Tanya, out in Maryland, I constantly get calls from wrestlers or people I know at the university who say, like, how do I get my kids into your wife's class? Money helps, but it's easy to win something like this when you wake up as the bronze medalist of teachers in your own household every day. I cannot be more proud to accept this award. I thank you, and I'm really proud to represent the Oromocto High School. Thank you very much.
So going to be missed, like, not only as a teacher, but folks, I've seen him at the podium as a presenter of these awards, and his stories are, well, either hilarious or emotional, or, I mean, it can run the full gamut. So Randy, like, kudos to you, enjoy retirement, but boy, we're gonna miss you big time. I asked Catherine Blaney once again to present our next award to Peter Hobbs, teacher at the Enterprise Center. See Peter up here a few times tonight. Peter Hobbs has been working at the Enterprise Center, Anglophone West School District's alternative education program, for the last 8 years. You're going to love his story. Although he spent some time working in the traditional classroom environment, he has clearly found his place at the Enterprise Center. He is proud to be making a difference in the lives of others, something he has wanted to do since he was young, growing up in the Philippines as the son of missionaries who devoted their lives to others. His mother was also a teacher, and his father worked to help the urban poor and at-risk youth in Manila. Inspired by his parents, Peter embarked on his university education in Canada and soon discovered a love for teaching. Since his arrival at the Enterprise Center, he has worked in a variety of roles, from teacher to guidance counselor to facilitator. Thanks for that last word. Remember the FPR? I didn't know what it was. Thanks. He has worked tirelessly to expand and strengthen the program and to help forge partnerships with community groups and government to best help his students. It's evident to any who meet him that Peter has a passion and a talent for working with at-risk youth. He arrives early, stays late, devotes countless lunch breaks, evenings, and weekends, building strong connections with each of his students and providing the support they need in order to succeed, not just in the classroom, but outside of it as well. And isn't that a common theme that we're hearing tonight, the dedication of these teachers? So again, Peter, I hand the microphone over to you.
Thank you very much.
I'm very honored to receive this award tonight. I'd like to thank Rose and Brian and Gary, Linda, Amanda, and the entire Turnaround Achievement Award Committee, and members of Kingswood staff who worked so hard to make this night happen. Their generosity and dedication to recognize these students tonight is certainly something to applaud. Thanks also to my wife and wonderful daughters who make life such a joy to live. Thanks to my colleagues and and others that I work with for managing to put up with me. at least most of the time. But I'd really like to take this opportunity to say thanks to my students. Over the years, I've been lucky to have a job that I look forward to each day. I have a job where I get to meet all sorts of young people from all sorts of walks of life. I get to watch these students as they overcome what often appears to me to be insurmountable obstacles in life. I get to learn from them and be inspired by them. If I ever think I'm having a rough day or feeling overwhelmed, I just remember the things that some of these people face and their amazing resiliency, and things fall into perspective. I get to watch these students attain their goals, even on nights like tonight, watch them receive the highest of praise and accolades. I get to watch for that brief and special time in life when they transform from being kids to adults. And I get paid to do it. I'd just like to say an enormous congratulations to the recipients of the awards tonight, and thanks for letting us all be a part of your special tonight as we celebrate your achievements. Thank you.
See the tears in my eyes. Like, that's the kind of message that I love, and that's the kind of message that I wish I'd heard when I was young, just to have influenced my decision. Not that I don't love my job, but to have a job like that where you're standing before so many people and being thankful to your students, you know, rather than the other way around. So that was awesome, Peter. Thank you for sharing, for sure. That was an inspirational message. So before we begin the Student Awards ceremony, we have a very special presentation to a person who has been an invaluable, integral, I could add so many words here, supporter of the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards for many, many years. I asked Brian Johnson, the president of Kingswood, to come forward to make the presentation.
There's a special person here that has helped us so much over the years. We're very sad that he's left our organizing committee, but I know that he's always here to help us. Mr. David McTimney, could you please come forward, please? For his continued support and dedication, commitment to the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards, with his loyalty, encouragement, our program has been able to continue to give students the recognition they deserve. Thanks, David, and he's also a much better golfer than I am.
Well, it is interesting to note that we have influenced our sister province of Nova Scotia, and this must put such a big smile on your face, Brian. Terra Firma Development Corporation, in collaboration with the Annapolis Valley Regional School Board, just last week presented Nova Scotia's third Turnaround Achievement Awards program for students in West Hants Middle School, Avon View High School, and West Hants Education Centre. So congratulations on our behalf to all of the turnaround students in our sister province. Now, this group attended 3 of our award ceremonies and was so impressed that they invited members of our Kingswood committee to help them launch their very own. Now, hopefully this is a trend that we will see roll out across the rest of the country, because as I say, I think I MC a lot of events, and I tell Brian this, and I know you know it comes from my heart. This is definitely the most rewarding MC job that I do, and I do a lot of them, and they're all, you know, they all pull at the heartstrings, but not like this event. So I'm honored to be serving as the MC at these events. So thank you, and keep asking, please. So again, it gives me great pleasure, again, the commitment that you make to be here, but certainly our special guests who have really, really busy schedules. So it gives me great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for this evening. He probably doesn't require an introduction, Gardner McDougall, but I will say a few words. Gardner McDougall has spent 18 seasons at the helm of UNB's hockey program at the Atlantic University level and at the U Sports CIS national level, the latter culminating in 6 national gold medal championships, 3 silver medals, and 1 bronze medal. He helped lead Team Canada to the World University Games gold medal in Trentino, Italy. It was the 2nd World Championship for Coach McDougall. He's been named Coach of the Year on not 1, not 2, not 3, but 9 different occasions, awarded the UNB President's Citation, and recently was honored as an honorary UNB alumnus. He was awarded the honorary CIS Jean-Marie DeConnick Coaching Excellence Award, only the 2nd hockey coach in CIS history to be awarded this prestigious honor. He is an AUS coaching leader in wins and top 3 all-time in Canada. He has also been recognized with the Rotary's Paul Harris Fellowship Medallion and the prestigious Queen's Diamond Jubilee Medal. He is the co-founder of V-Red's Prospects Youth Development Program, with over 50 of their participants drafted to the NHL and currently 26 to have played in the NHL. What a contribution you have made, and we thank you for that. So we will now welcome our guest speaker, Mr. Gardner. Come right up here and take the floor.
Thank you, Brian. Just over 10 days ago, in the province of Saskatchewan, the worst tragedy in Canadian hockey history, and certainly one of the most tragic events in Canada, happened. There was a member of that hockey team that had been emailing our team for the past 2 years. And after the accident, we realized that the player was in that accident, and I said, wow, I wonder how he made out. We had some contacts in Saskatchewan. And we reached out. I sent him an email. About 3 days after the accident, I got this email back from Kaylin Dalgrib. We're all starting to do well and get our feet back on the ground. I still have that passion for life, and I don't think I'll ever, anytime soon, forget it. It is a very tough situation for our team, but right now we're getting through it, and moments like this show how fast life can get turned upside down. I'm grateful for everything. I'm going to live every day to the fullest. In commemoration of the Humboldt Broncos tragedy, I would like everyone to stand, and if we can be silent for 16 seconds, our thoughts to the Humboldt Broncos. Thank you very much. I thank the opportunity. Thank you, Brian Johnson and Rose. You do an outstanding job. And really, this event, we could go to Humboldt and we could say that JGS, it certainly happened in Humboldt at a level we would never want to happen. But here tonight, we get to celebrate 25 unbelievable, inspiring stories and 25 people. And they're all going to be JGS. I'm going to pick a few of them out right now. Is McKenna here? McKenna? Is she here someplace? Where's McKenna? Oh yeah, let's give her a hand there. McKenna, could you just hold that up, make sure everyone sees it? JGS. Now, I'm not going to make you stand, but you're going to keep that JGS for me. Shane Thomas, the principal at FHS. Yeah, who's your special person there? She just left from home?
She just left.
Yeah, what's her name? Elisa. Yeah, when she comes back, we give that JGS. And you can hold it up, because really your life tomorrow will be JGS as well.
Yes, it is.
Is Logan here? Where's Logan at? Yes, Logan. Well, let's give this guy a hand. Just hold that right up. Let everyone see. No, put it up. Yeah, that way. Excellent, Logan. Give Logan a hand. JGS as well. Do I have someone from Minto here? Yeah, Minto. Yes. Yeah. What was your name? Alex, that's what I thought. Stand up, please, Alex. Let's give Alex a hand. JGS. There's an outstanding JGS. And we have another person here. up at the front table. Premier Gallant, could you stand for a moment, please? Where are you at there? He left already. Well, yeah, hey, he's really JGS. But let's have his right-hand man here. Yeah, could you stand for a moment and just hold that up, JGS. And you're thinking of JGS. Keep it up there. But all those 5 people kind of keep that up, JGS. And you're thinking, Roger Shannon, yeah, you'd be JGSing today. Yeah, for sure you would be. And those 25 people are going to honor it's JGS, and I could ask you, and you're thinking, where is he going with this? I could ask Rose what J means, but I don't want to put her in a spot. And do we have another participant that's going to get a special award tonight? Anyone else? This guy here, stand right up here. And your name is?
Riley.
Yeah, last name?
Vangery.
Yeah, Riley? Yeah, give him a hand. I'll shake your hand as well. Excellent. This is a 4-letter word, and it starts with J, and it ends with T. You think you have an idea what that word is? We're going to help him now. Starts with J, ends with T, only has 4 letters. Just. Yeah, you can tell everyone?
Just.
Just. Oh, I like that. Give Riley a hand there. That's just. So I take the S, but let's go to the G. Who else is a winner here tonight? Oh, yeah, right over here. Yeah, stand up, please. Excellent. Oh, yeah, it was your dad that pointed you out. And your name is? Yeah, Kiana Sharp. And where's home? Yeah, Burton. And what's your school? FHS. Well done. And you're gonna skill test a question here. It starts with G, has two T's. Starts with G, ends with a G, and 2 T's in the middle. Do you know what that word is? Yeah, you get one call in there. This is one call in. What is it again? Yeah, just say that real loud. A little louder. A louder. Get it? Yeah. Oh, I like that. Getting. And where's Cole at? With the just. Yeah, we got just and getting. Now, Rose, I'm going to you now. Oh, I'll tell you, you're set up for right here. What do you think the S word? Just getting started. Isn't that outstanding? Give Rose a hand. And all those 5 people. And aren't we just getting started? It's all about a mindset. And when you wake up tomorrow morning, whether you're a politician, whether you're a student, whether you're a principal, whether you're a retired educator like Randy Smith soon to be, tomorrow, really your life is just getting started. And isn't that exciting of what life brings us? And what Brian Johnson, one person, has done to make difference for all these people. At the University of New Brunswick, our theme is making a significant difference. And certainly we're going to hear of 25 people that have made a difference for their families, for their friends, for their peers, for their school, for our province. Our motto at UNB is all about being the best. And best, we just make that word and we say, better every single time. I'm not sure if we had any pumpernickel skills people in some of these awards. I've seen one UNB jersey back at the back there earlier. And when we go on, we start September 1st with our hockey team every year. And I look at my job is to try to make the best opportunity for our group each and every year. We talk about protecting the legacy that's been done before. We talk about building something special. And you can't do either if you don't believe. And for these 25 people that are going to get recognized here, belief is such a powerful, the confidence they have to go forward now is going to make a difference in their lives. So JGS, 2 things about JGS. If you want to just get started, the whole 2 things. Number 1 is all about work ethic. And so I'm going to talk about one special person, work ethic right here. For the person that started this thing, one person made a difference. And you think about where Brian Johnson was brought up in Chestnut Street in Fredericton, New Brunswick, and then had 8 members of his family plus his parents, 10. And I asked him, how big was your home when you were brought up, Brian? He said, well, we started with a 2-bedroom. So you think about that, and we had 2 or 4 in the room, and some people on the couch had to sleep. And we moved up to Squires, and we had 4 bedrooms there, so we had the bunks in every room. And I said, Brian, tell me your story. How did you make a difference? And so when he was a kid, his dad worked at Wood Motors, so when he was 6 years old, he'd go to Wood Motors, and he'd clean the cars. And then he was a janitor, he'd clean that. And when the full-time janitor went away at 9 years old, he did the whole shop. And then before going to school, he started in grade 4. His 2 older brothers had a paper route. He had 79 places to go at 6 o'clock in the morning. He delivered the papers. His dad would take 40 papers and put them halfway because he couldn't carry 79 papers at 9 years old. And he did the paper route. And then he'd sell Regal catalogs at Christmas. People remember the Regal catalogs that come out at Christmas time. And he'd do all these extra jobs. And he was one of the first in his family to go to the University of Brunswick, get a degree, went into the CA firm, and then after that a controller, and then he wanted to make a difference. And him and his partner, Ernie McFadgen, created Kingswood. And you think about how much impact one person has made for all the people. This year, there'll be 1,000 recipients in the Special Turnaround Achievement Award. 1,000, almost $400,000 in scholarship money, all for one person. Let's give him a hand about the work ethic. Outstanding. Thank you very much, Brian. But JGS, most people are winding down, like Randy Smith retiring. Brian Smith, he's got a new hotel just started up. He's got a new aquatic water park, going to be the largest in Atlantic Canada. He's just getting started, Brian Johnson. So you need a work ethic if you want to just get started. Number 2, you need an attitude. It's interesting, Villanova just won the championship for men's basketball in the U.S. Before they come on, enter their dressing room every day, they had a sign, attitude. And everybody, before they went on the court, had touched the attitude. And the coach said, I want to bring your attitude to the court. And they had a special attitude. To be the top in the country, you certainly have to have a special attitude. And I look back, everybody here has had something in their life, sometime in their life, where their mindset changed. We're going to hear some great stories when mindset changed and attitude changed. Because you always do, you always did, you always get what you always got. And if things are going where Brian Johnson's going, just keep doing what you're doing, JGS. But if you need a change, and I think I was brought up in Prince Edward Island, in a small little village, and I had a 2-room school. Some of you may remember 2-room schools. I had 4 people in my grade 1 class. From up to grade 4, there was only 4 of us in grade 4. And then Dr. Lesser's son moved into our village, and he was in our grade, so we had 5 people. And then Blair Arsenault failed, so we had 6. Yeah, we had 6 members in grade 6. And then when I got to grade 7, I got grade 6 and 7, we went to the big room. That was the older kids. And then we had a chance to go from Little Badek, which is a couple hundred people. And then we went to Summerside, the big city, 8,000 people. And first day of school, in those days, I don't know if people remember, but in those days you get one new outfit the first day of school. So I got this outfit, brown pants and a brown jacket. Mr. Nerd, I probably called. And I wore that to Athena Regional High School in grade 8. And I was all excited, like, pretty nice, Mom got this. We had a family of 4, and only my dad worked, and that year he happened to get cancer. And in the early 1980s, when he got cancer, usually that wasn't great news. But my mom never ever told us that he had cancer. We just kept finding a way. I went to Athena Regional High School. No one else had that kind of suit on. I was coming from Badek, and everybody wore blue jeans. So of course, I went home and I said, Mom, I gotta get a pair of blue jeans. I'm going to Athena Regional High School now in grade 8. I need a pair of blue jeans. So of course, my mom said, okay. So I get a pair of blue jeans the next week, and I wear these blue jeans to school. And in those days, you only probably had 2 pair of pants. I had to store those brown, brand new, nice ones. But I got my blue jeans on. I was pretty excited about the new blue jeans. And I wore them to Athena Regional High School, and they're a little bit different blue jeans than everyone else. I wasn't sure why, but I kept wearing them, and I said, well, everyone else is faded, and mine will fade next week, I'm sure. And I brought them in, and you do the wash on Saturday. I got my 2 pair of pants washed, wear sweatpants on Saturday, and then Monday I go to school, and my blue jeans didn't change. I said, I wonder what's wrong with my blue jeans. I think, well, I hear about Javiks, you know, put the Javiks on, but I just tried a little part where people wouldn't see and they turned white, and then I still didn't have my favorite blue jeans. And I didn't realize at the time, I didn't feel real good, because everyone else had a nice pair of blue jeans. My blue jeans weren't fading. I never wanted to have that feeling again, because I kind of felt maybe I was not really inferior, but I didn't have the same blue jeans. Because see, everyone else at Athena Regional High School, they would go to Holman's in Summerside. They'd buy the nice Lee blue jeans, or the Levi blue jeans, you know, nice faded blue jeans. And my mom didn't have a lot of extra money. We had to go to the Kmart. And my blue jeans would be $9.95, and everyone else's would be $25.95. Well, I never want that feeling. And like Brian Johnson's done has made a difference. And when you hear the stories, I've changed my mindset. I got a job at the Kalbig store. Senator Catherine Kalbig sent me. I owned a country store. I got my first job. I remember my first salary was $60 a week. And I never had to ever ask my parents for anything after that from 13 years old on. Because I had my own money. And I went to Holman's. And instead of blue jeans, I bought the best nice pants I could. I get the Levi dress shirts. Every month I'd have a new one. I'd have 3 or 4. And in grade 11, I'd have more. I was the best dressed guy at Athena Regional High School. I had a Levi shirt. I had Levi pants. I looked good. And, you know, the lesson, though, when I look back, if you want something, you want to change, you got to initiate. And if I told you now, my attitude changed, my mindset changed, I'll find a way to get a better set of blue jeans or something different. And that's so important. So if I asked you 2 things for the JGS, 2 things, if I asked you one word, Rose, could be you. Yeah, I'll use this one. One word that could change your life. It changed mine. I didn't know it at the time. It only has 4 letters. Mayor, it'll change your life if you follow this. For those 25 students, it'll change your life. It has 4 letters, starts with G, ends with T. Anybody? Who said that? Where is that? I can't see with the lights. Great, right here. Yeah, oh yeah, stand right up. Oh yeah, just hold that right up. Excellent. Give her a hand. Great. Oh yes. I give you season tickets, but you already have them. I need somebody else. So if you think about JGS, if you think about the word grit, and we use it at UNB, it's changed. We won a silver medal in Halifax. I said, we got to get grittier. We got to change some things. So if you think about the word grit, and you take G, and you use the word guts. And every one of these 25 people you're going to hear about have had to have guts. They've had to make a tough decision. They had to change their mindset. And then you take R, and it means resilience. And then people have had adversity. I didn't feel real good about those blue jeans I was wearing, but I had to have some resilience. I had to keep going to school and still wear those blue jeans, but I wanted to change. How do you change? I is initiative. If you have initiative in this day and age, I think it's one of the most powerful words going. Because if you show initiative, man, the world's your oyster. If you show initiative, it takes guts. It's not for everybody, but initiative. And then the last of the grit is tenacity. And just taking hardship and find a way to get it done. At our team, we use that grit and we just make us find a way to get the job done. And the last thing I want to tell you, find a way to get the job done. How many people have ever set goals in their life? Had a goal? How many people wrote it down? Put it down someplace? So I had a goal when I became a coach. I was in Manitoba Junior Hockey. Can you open that wallet? Yeah, my wallet there, please. It's all stuff, it's old. Yeah, I set the goals, not just before I get my wallet. They did a study at Harvard University. And they did 20 years of graduates from Harvard. It's a pretty good university. Close to UNB, probably. And they did all the graduates, how they made out, who set goals and who didn't set goals. And they found out that 87% of the graduates from Harvard University set goals. And let's say the starting salary of high school, I don't know, Shane Thomas could tell me, but the starting salary of a high school grad 30,000 maybe, would you say that? For, some people could make more, some people could make less, 30,000. And then a high school graduate, a university grad, maybe it's depends on what but an average of a high university grad, maybe 60,000, say, or 50,000. Let's use, you get in the middle, $50,000 is what a grad would make, 50,000. So 87% of the people in the Harvard study make 50,000. 13% had goals. 8% of them had goals. They didn't write them down, but they had a goal in mind, what they wanted to do in life. What they wanted to do in life. And those people made twice the income of the people that didn't write the goals down. So 50 doubles into 100. Who's in the right goal? Who's in? High school's back there, you're 25 grad. How many people are going to write goals? But here's the neat thing. 5%. There's 215 people here in this room. 5% is how many people, Roger? 4, thank you. 5%, not even that. 1 or 2. 5% set goals, wrote them down, changed them, found ways to change the goal, and had a plan. And they made 5 to 7 times what the people without the goals. So 5 times 5, 250. Oh man, I'll tell you, I'm going to own Kingswood. Man, 5% right there. So I'm going to give you my story just to finish. Brian, you want to just take those things out there, right there. Yeah, there's a lot of bills in that. So I knew about this theory. So when I got into coaching in Manitoba, I had my first team, the Opaska Cree Nation Blizzard up in northern Manitoba. We started June the 1st. And I said, I wrote a goal down, I want to win a national championship. I wrote the goal down. It was on a green piece of paper. It got so crumbled, I had to change it. So then I got this little piece of paper when I came to UNB. And I put win a national championship. March 2004. That was my goal. I put it in my wallet. Every time I put my visa, I see that goal. Okay, I've seen it every day. My wife likes to spend money. I had to pay a lot of bills, so there we go. Unfortunately, in 2004, we're in the national final at the Aiken University Center. 5 seconds left in the game. One of our players has a 2-on-1. I looked at the clock. It's almost time. I said, we're going to win a national championship. He hit the post, rolled across the line, bounced out. Our opponent got one of those 2-on-1s in double overtime. They scored. I had to wait till 2007. And then we won one of those national championships. And that goal setting, you just had grit and tenacity and resilience and stayed with it. So I said, that worked pretty good. I'm going to get another card out. I said, I'm going to write that down again and put it in my wallet. In fact, I put in my wallet, the future is now, 2008. The game's so close in the national final. But that goalie was so good. We lost by 1 goal. But we got it the next year. So there's another that worked. And then I kept going. So sometimes I'd have to wait 2 years. I'd get a national championship. I said, those are working, that goal set is working real well. But I always have to wait 2 years. And 2 years ago, we used the word grit. And man, we went back to back. National championships, one in Halifax, one here right at the Aiken University Center. But you know how humans are? Guess what? I thought I had it made. I didn't write one of those little pieces of paper last year. I didn't put it in my wallet because I thought, we got the formula. We got the formula. Well, you know where we finished this year. We got 3rd. I got a new one of those in my wallet for next year. I got a new one, yes. Just on behalf of our UNB hockey program, Brian Johnson, a longtime friend, all the best to the 25 people. Like Rose, I can't wait to hear the stories. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
A weekly meeting and have him chair it and host it. And who knew? I knew on paper that I knew all of your achievements, and when I read your bio, I thought, yeah, impressive, but then he comes up and does that. That was brilliant. Your message was right on. Like, honestly, that was really, really, really good. Your bio makes so much sense now, and it's all about goal setting. So we really, really appreciate your message tonight. I think everybody would agree with me on that. So we will now begin the presentation of the 2018 Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award. So permit me just briefly explain the ceremonial proceedings. Each recipient will be escorted to the podium, and then following the presentation and the acceptance speech, which we hope you will deliver, you will make your way through the receiving line, and each student this evening will receive the following: a pewter medallion, thanks again to Kathy and the district, certificate from Premier Brian Gallant, a certificate from the Member of Parliament Matt DeCourcy, a certificate from the Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development Brian Kenny, and a certificate from Kingswood. So I'm going to ask if the following could form the receiving line, please. So the Honourable Stephen Horseman, Brian Johnson, and Catherine Blaney. And I will introduce the student, the school they are from, and the presenter, starting with Brendan Murphy of Fredericton High School, and the presenter is Carolyn Barnhart.
Kind, compassionate, thoughtful, hardworking, dedicated, motivated, and focused. These are just a few of the words that I would use to describe my student, Brendan Murphy. Sadly, this was not always the case for this young man. He would have described himself as isolated, depressed, self-absorbed, unmotivated, and addict. Harsh words indeed, but an honest reflection of the boy that he was in grade 9, but certainly not the young man that stands before you by the end of grade 11. I count myself fortunate to have had Brendan in my environmental science class this fall. It is a self-directed, project-based course that promotes ingenuity, creativity, independence, problem-solving, and communication. Without a doubt, Brendan was one of the most task-oriented students in his group. When the focus of his group would start to wander, it was Brendan that always got the group back on track. His responses were always well thought out and supported. Brendan did not meet my expectations, he always surpassed them. This was the student that I knew. Parent-teacher interviews arrived and Brendan's mom came in, and I became familiar with the rest of the story. To put it mildly, I was shocked, but it made me even more impressed with this young man. He has overcome extreme adversity, he hit rock bottom, and went to Portage. He came out with a plan, he had goals and aspirations, and saw a bright future. Brendan came back to school to complete his courses and upgrade his marks. He is a valuable member of the FHS baseball and volleyball teams, as well as a member of the Fredericton Royals. His most pressing short-term goal is to walk across the stage at graduation for his mom, his way of making amends for the past. Grit and determination are two of the characteristics that I admire most in a person, and Brendan embodies these traits. As a teacher, many students pass through our classroom doors, and there are a few that have a profound impact on us as educators. For me, Brendan is one of those students. He has not let adversity and drug addiction define him or limit him. He will take that experience and learn from it. He will share his stories and be an inspiration to others. Brendan and his group will actually be presenting their UV Watch at a Maker event in May and will be participating in a startup competition in June. Brendan will be attending St. Thomas University in the fall, where he is enrolled in the criminology program with his sights set on becoming a lawyer. With his grit and determination, I have no doubt that he will be successful in achieving these goals. I could not be more proud of my student, Brendan Murphy, most deserving of the Turnaround Achievement Award.
I'd like to thank my VP, Mrs. Allaby, she's over there, and my guidance counselor, Mrs. Maxwell. They've helped me a lot to focus on like what I want to do after high school. I'd also like to thank Mrs. Barnhart very much because she always gave me the opportunity to demonstrate my knowledge and made me push myself more to go to post-secondary school. I'd also like to thank everybody from across Atlantic that helped me turn my life around in 6 months. So it was really took some time in my life, but it was worth it. And finally, I'd like to thank my parents. They're at table 11. They've stuck through everything since I was in grade 9 till now. Always been by my side, never closed the door on me, gave me some hard times, but it was understandable. And I'm really happy to get this award. Been kind of looking forward to it for a while, so yeah, thanks.
Our next recipient is Tiana Sharp from Fredericton High School, and here to present is Beth Wright.
Before I start, I'd just like to mention Andrew Culberson, who is Tiana's guidance counselor. He supported Tiana for 4 years through some pretty rough times. He sends his regrets, but the poor guy's in New York City at a PD conference. Also, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Tiana's English teacher, Miss Amy Brigades. She's made an instrumental connection with Tiana and has helped her gain the confidence she will need for the future, so thanks, Amy. Tiana began her journey at Fredericton High School as a shy, anxiety-filled individual who was modified in certain areas and who had severe difficulty just simply entering the doors of the school. Through many tears, she would come to school each day, often late, and as often the case, she'd leave early. We altered her schedule to half days. It was better than full days, but it wasn't working. So we were fortunate enough to be able to put her into our Compass program, where she came in the morning, and that started to be the turning point for her recovery. She started coming to school regularly, and she worked back to full days. Her course choices, in grade 11 and 12, were her own, and she even took on the challenge of completing some level 2 courses, which she was very successful in. She worked herself completely off a modified program. She had her mindset in grade 9 that she was going to attend the New Brunswick Community College of Craft and Design. And in grade 11, this started to become an even bigger focus for her. Her mom and her grandparents, who are here tonight, have supported her every step of the way. And together, they got her back on track, and that has landed her a spot in the New Brunswick Community College of Craft and Design for September. Tiana has done all the work. Her support staff simply pointed her in the right direction. She's hardworking, she's soft-spoken, kind, and very personable. It is amazing to see the transformation of this individual. Tiana has a bright future ahead of her, and we wish her many successes with her continued studies. Tiana Sharp, 2018 Turnaround Achievement Award winner.
I would just like to thank my grandparents, my grandmother, my grandfather, and I'd like to thank my mom. My teachers for being so understanding during my years at FHS. And this is really only thinking now what this award means. I never expected myself to get through high school or even standing here at all today. And my heart goes out to the people that work on this, and thank you so much.
Our next recipient is Aidan Mulheron from Fredericton High School, and here to present, Robin Allaby and Suzanne Maxwell. Often before I prepare a speech, I look for a quote that might exemplify what I'm about to say. And I found this quote from C.S. Lewis, and as Robin and I were preparing together our presentation of Aiden, we both felt that it spoke so powerfully to her struggle and hopefully is meaningful to all of you tonight. C.S. Lewis once said, "Hardships often prepare ordinary people for an extraordinary destiny." It is the desire of us as educators, parents, and adults who care about youth that they see in themselves the same potential that we do. Unfortunately, the Aiden I met when she was in grade 10 wasn't quite ready to see who or what her family and teachers saw. Aiden wasn't a student who was even on our radar in grade 9, and if we don't know who you are in grade 9, that says something at the high school. But by the middle of grade 10, she had made herself known to us by the choices she had started making and the struggles she was having. Though extremely capable, she was struggling in her academics and had little desire to attend school. Her visits to our offices increased, and her parents' phone numbers were on our speed dials. Often I would get a call from her father saying, "I'm on my way to McDonald's to pick her up." And during that time, even the McDonald's staff saw potential in Aiden and offered her a job because she was there so frequently. We problem solved during Aiden's grade 10 year, trying to bring in resources and offer supports to help turn this around and to help her strive to be her best self. Reduced schedules, alternate programming, and coping strategies were all offered and implemented, but more hardship and heartache were to be endured before Aiden would see the potential within. After leaving our school for a period of time to focus on herself, I had a call asking if Aiden could return to FHS to finish her education. Her experiences while she was gone from school had been significant, including a life-threatening health scare that hospitalized her for several months and a very difficult recovery. When Aiden returned to school, she was ready to take on any obstacle. Robin and I often commented that she returned to us as a young adult, mature, articulate, and confident. She didn't settle for the easy route and took academically challenging courses with the goal of graduating and entering the medical field. She was finally seeing the potential within her and was willing to do the work necessary to accomplish her goals. I vividly remember sitting in my office earlier this year discussing her application to Renaissance College and Aiden saying to me, "I just don't see myself as ordinary." That was the moment I knew that she finally saw what her parents and family, her teachers and her support network saw. She is indeed extraordinary, and her journey is just beginning.
Most educators enter this field because they want to make a difference. I know this is certainly true for Suzanne and me. Every day we do our best to reach students and to make important decisions to impact their journey. I'm sure that Aiden will say that the two of us have been incredibly influential in her life. What I'm sure she doesn't realize is just how influential she's been in ours. As Suzanne mentioned, we as teachers often see the light and potential in students long before they see it themselves. And it becomes our mission to help them believe in themselves, to realize their resilience, their strength, and their courage. We all know that teaching is not an 8-to-4 job that ends when we get into our vehicles at the end of the day. We frequently carry our students in our heads and in our hearts when we return home to our families and when we lay awake at night in the wee hours. With Aiden, this was certainly the case. It has been an absolute blessing working with Aiden every step of the way, even when things were difficult. In our desire and determination to think creatively and to help her, we became better. There have been many heart-to-hearts, many tears, most of them ours, many hours spent brainstorming, thinking outside the box, strategizing, coaching, many emails and trips between our offices to problem solve and celebrate success. Aiden, you are such a gift. You are the reason that teachers like us do what we do. You have found your inner light and you have grown and matured into a beautiful, confident young woman who knows her value, her worth, and her potential. You truly are extraordinary, and there is absolutely no doubt in our minds that you will go on to do extraordinary things. We are so happy to have been part of your journey, and we are so incredibly proud of all that you have accomplished.
Receiving a Turnaround Achievement Award. My journey has been really long and filled with many peaks and valleys. I've had various challenges with my mental and my physical health. Particularly beginning in 2010, I began to struggle with anxiety, depression, and ADHD, and it went undiagnosed and unrecognized. And it caused manifestations in me ranging from defiance, attendance issues, and emotional hardships. For me, it really peaked in 2013 when I began grade 10, which is when Mrs. Allaby and Mrs. Maxwell got familiar with me. I ditched school pretty routinely. I acted pretty impulsively and recklessly and had a really hard time with interpersonal relationships. And as they said, it ended up in me having to stop attending school for a while. Outside of school, I continued to struggle with my mental health issues. And as soon as I was starting to feel like I had a handle on it, I got very ill with a life-threatening illness during the summer of 2016. And November 2016, I actually returned to school. When I returned to school, I was dealing with a lot of physical limitations, but I never really gave up on myself, and I'm very self-determined and stubborn. If you guys didn't already hear that, I'm for Mrs. Allaby and Mrs. Maxwell tonight. And although my journey left me feeling being down and had me questioning why me at certain points, as I'm sure a lot of the other recipients have felt, I'm happy to say, standing here tonight, I feel accomplished, strong, and really hopeful for my future. All that being said, I certainly didn't do it alone. I had an amazing amount of support from several different people, and I would especially like to say a special thank you to my parents for always being there for me through everything, and Mrs. Maxwell and Mrs. Allaby. They did everything for me that they could, and they're always going to be two very special people for me in my life. And I'd also like to thank the Turnaround Committee who made this possible tonight. And not one of the recipients standing here tonight could be standing here without the support of people who invested special care to foster their potential. So people like you create leaders, and I'd like to say congratulations to all the other recipients tonight, and thank you for the opportunity.
I think we might be looking at next year's guest speaker. That was well done. Very well done. Our next recipient is Riley Fanjoy from Cambridge Narrows Community School, and here to present Riley with the award is Sandy Braun.
Good evening. It's hard to go after those stories. Welcome to middle school, though, so we're going to be a little different. I first came to Cambridge Narrows Community School in the fall of 2014 to work as their guidance counselor. CNCS is a sweet little K-12 country school with views of the Washmadowick and plenty of fresh air, and plenty of camo. So I once had one of my students say to me, "Miss Braun, your family's probably just a bunch of city slickers, right?" And I said, "We sure are." And that same year, Riley Fanjoy joined us, and he had been a fellow city slicker. It was his first year at CNCS. Riley was a cherub-faced, friendly little guy who was in Miss Jones' grade 5 class. Riley had moved to Cambridge with his mom, who grew up in Cambridge, and he lived also with his older brother, Tyler. Riley had been to several elementary schools by the time he came to us in grade 5, and I think he was testing the waters just to see if we were on our game there at CNCS. After all, he had just come from the mean streets of St. John, and seriously, Cambridge does look like it came out of a storybook. Well, Riley and I got to know each other pretty well and pretty quickly that fall. Riley was what I like to call a spirited child. You know, teacher talk for won't listen, won't sit down, makes silly noises. What Riley didn't know is that I had just come from teaching grade 6 math at Devon Middle School for the last 8 years, and I knew his kind well. In fact, I love spirited children. They are my very favorite, and that is why I became a guidance counselor. Riley didn't find the things he was learning in class challenging enough. He would prefer to do a MacGyver and build something out of the entire contents of his pencil case, or to sing a song with words I'm pretty sure only he understood. Riley and I spent time trying to identify why didn't he want to listen in class, or why didn't he want to do his work. Remember, I was new with his guidance gig too. And I think looking back, I was trying to fix Riley. Heck, I don't really think Riley wanted me to fix him. Mom and I had plenty of conversations around this, trying to come up with ideas to help him succeed because we knew he could. When you're a guidance counselor, sometimes you try to figure out how to fix kids and how to make the teacher happy. And sometimes you forget why you became the guidance counselor. Remember, I said spirited kids are my favorite. And Riley reminded me of this. Riley was my first guidance kid. I'm not saying I didn't have lots of other students as a classroom teacher that influenced me, but Riley was my first kid in guidance that I connected with. I was there to connect with him. I was there to be his cheerleader in the school and believe he could do it. I was not there to fix him. I was there to care for him, to be his advocate, and as such, my role was to support him, believe in him, and at times be his voice. Riley made friends. He became involved in school activities. In fact, he was just telling me about a gold medal in basketball. He did a wonderful Heritage Fair project this year, researching medals, war medals. Riley, I am so proud of you. Even though I no longer work with Riley as I have moved on to another school, Riley has had a huge influence on how I care for kids. Riley is a very likable fellow, and despite his spiritedness, in fact, because of his spiritedness, I know Riley is capable and able to do the things he wants to do as a learner and as a young person. I feel that Riley will continue to grow, and even if there are obstacles in his way, I hope that you know you are oh so cared for and oh so able.
Our next award recipient is Aiden Borden of Nashwaaksis Middle School, and here to present is Galen Smith and Regina Gillingham.
I just want to start by thanking Ms. Gillingham, Ms. Frizzell, and the Borden family for the support that they've given to Aiden over the last year in his schooling. I only met Aiden just over a year ago when I switched schools to Nashwaaksis, and it's been pretty exciting times so far working with him. At that time, he was having a little trouble maintaining school-appropriate behaviors and was occasionally not ending his day with his class, or even possibly not ending it in the school. He made himself a goal. Fitting for Gardner to give that speech today about goals, he made himself a goal. It was a simple goal, but it wasn't a simple goal for everybody. He did not want to be suspended. That's it. He was not going to be sent home from school again. And he has not. Over a year later, he has not been sent home from school once. Does every day go perfect? No. But Aiden is really learning how to deal with frustrations and be able to continue through his day. When there's something that's unstructured or changes, it's okay. He understands that he's going to be fine, and something else will go good the rest of the day. He's become an integral part of our school. This year he even gave a speech to all 3 grades, so we're a middle school with 3 grades, to all 3 grades, just to explain kind of how he sees the world a little bit differently. And it was amazing to see the effect on our students. They were in awe. They were just so impressed. And it just kind of, to see how enlightened they now were. To see that, well, everyone sees the world different. They see the world different than the person beside them, the person beside them, and the person beside them. That's how the world works. But a wonderful speech by Aiden was what kind of let them see that at that middle school age. We are very proud of the young man Aiden has become, and we're even more excited to see the amazing adult he develops into as he continues to progress and excel through life. Great job, man.
I want to thank my parents and Mr. Smith and Mrs. Gillingham for helping me out to get this goal achieved.
Good job.
Thank you, Mr. Osmond.
Our next recipient is Joshua Wood of Enterprise FHS, and here to present, no stranger to any of us, Peter Hobbs.
Still want me to hold your hand, man? People often look for acceptance in the wrong places. Josh's problems began to take a grip when he started in with what he described with as the wrong crowd in high school. Josh recounts spending multiple nights in lockup and being involved with the court system at a young age. Josh was placed on probation in his grade 9 year and spent time living in shelters in St. John and Fredericton. He eventually ended up in jail during his grade 10 year. Josh struggled with addictions issues during this period in his life. He attempted rehab 3 times as he wrestled with his sobriety and his desire to make a better life for himself. Josh eventually completed Portage in January of 2017. He secured a full-time job soon thereafter and actively began to pursue his education. Josh began the Enterprise program in September of 2017 and flew through the remaining credits he needed to graduate, completing the program in a matter of months. While Josh was in the program, his attendance was excellent, and most days he was the first to arrive. Josh believed that having faith in a good future and being persistent were keys to his success. After completing the Enterprise program, Josh took it upon himself to return to Fredericton High School to upgrade his courses. Josh plans to attend NVCC to take the Culinary Arts program and possibly continue on to university sometime in the future. Congratulations, Josh.
Definitely wouldn't have seen myself standing here at any point getting the Turnaround Achievement Award. It's pretty good. But I just want to thank definitely the Enterprise group, Mr. Hobbs and Polly and Cynthia back there. And I know I definitely wouldn't be here if it weren't for them. And most importantly, I'd like to thank my parents back there. They've stuck by me no matter what. They've always just told me just to keep looking into the future, and here I am. So thanks.
It's not the first time we've heard Portage mentioned here tonight, so a shout out to the good work that Portage is doing as well. Our next recipient goes by the name of Logan Sharp, and he goes to school at Enterprise FHS, and here again to present, don't go far, Peter Hobbs.
Logan's path towards graduation has been unimaginably difficult. Logan lost both his parents in a tragic incident when he was in middle school. Understandably, this severely affected him, and it began to manifest itself in a variety of ways. Logan struggled with his mental health and suffered from overwhelming bouts of anxiety and depression during this time. He described himself as genuinely lost. He began falling behind in school and was experimenting with drugs. Logan ran into trouble with the law and realized he needed help. He decided to enter rehab at Portage in May of 2015. Logan left Portage and came to attend the Enterprise program in November of 2016. He started out well, however, by April of the following year, he had relapsed and left the program. Logan worked through his addiction issues and returned in September of this school year. Logan focused on his spirituality and mindfulness, adopting a Buddhist philosophy and meditating daily. Logan found a passion for yoga and began leading sessions at the Enterprise Center for fellow students and staff. He excelled in his academics and became a dedicated, hardworking student. Logan aims to pursue the electronic game development program at NBCC, where he can put his amazing artistic skills into practice. When asked to discuss what success meant to him, Logan once wrote, "My experience with success was finally achieving peace of mind and fighting anxiety and depression. Success is simply finding happiness wherever you are in life." Now, I've been asked by Logan's grandma and his brother and sister to read something, and I'll do my best. This is from his brother, Noah, who's in the back somewhere. Dear Logan, I see you have come a long way, and I'm very proud of you, and I hope you remember all the help along the way. I almost can't believe it, but what's not to believe? It's a story that could be on any Oprah or Ellen show. You're a great role model, a generous person, smart-minded, and my brother. Sincerely, your brother, Noah Sharp. And this is from his sister, Kristen, who's also back there. Logan, during the difficult times in your life, you may have thought that I had given up on you, but I always knew you would come around at some point. No matter what anyone said, I am so thankful that Mom and Dad gave me the best friend to get through this life with. And I know in my heart that they are always watching over us. I'm so very proud of the man you've become. You're going to go very far in life, and I can't wait to see what the future has in store for you. Look. And this last one is from his grandma, who I got to know very well. We had many conversations over the course of the time that I've known Logan. My dearest Logan, your road has been long and hard. You, your sister Kristen, brother Noah, and myself have been through a lot together. Nan is old school, and I have always wanted the best for you. Dad and Mom would be so proud of you. Remember, we will stand by you forever. Your uncles, Robin and Randy, and their families are so proud of you. Keep up the good work. All my love, Nanny Fawn.
I'd like to start by congratulating all the other recipients. Great job with all your work. And I'd like to give thanks to my family, my grandmother, my brother and my sister for being there for me. And although my parents aren't here, I'd like to thank them for the solid foundation they created for me to grow on. And I think about them every day. And just know that every success comes with some difficulties, and every failure contributes to increased wisdom and future success. So thanks again to all my family. Just know that you've been instrumental in me receiving this award for the second time actually. And also thanks to Mr. Hobbs and Ms. Fletcher and Ms. Polly. Thank you very much.
Our next recipient is Scott Mayet. Is it pronounced Mayet? Yes, Scott Mayet. And here to present the award is Peter Hobbs. And Scott, by the way, is at Enterprise Leo Hayes High School.
Scott's turnaround has been something extraordinary. Scott's life was fraught with chaos and self-destructive behavior before he decided things had to change. Scott began getting into trouble at a young age and was sent to the youth center at the beginning of his high school career. After he served his sentence, he tried to reintegrate back into classes, however he was unsuccessful. Scott began at the Enterprise program, at the end of the 2015-16 school year. He started out well, but by the following school year, he had slipped into the grip of addiction. Scott's attitude and personality began to change, and he became a shell of his former self. Scott was removed from the Enterprise program as his attendance became poor, and he was unstable and unpredictable. Not long after, Scott got into some legal trouble, and it was then at rock bottom he realized that he had a serious problem. Scott decided to go to rehab at Portage in the spring of 2017. Scott excelled there and finished high school by completing the Enterprise program through Portage. As his mind cleared, Scott realized his potential and his academic capabilities. He's currently upgrading his courses and has been accepted to Memorial University to begin in the fall. Scott's goal is to be a teacher when he's finished. Congratulations.
I'd like to start by thanking Kingswood for holding an event like this. Of course, one of the Portage alumni, so I'd like to thank Portage. Very great place, but most importantly, I'd like to thank Mr. Hobbs. It's super important for a community and a school district to have people like that who can kind of connect with you on another level that the regular public schools can't. It's, I don't know, it's a different type of person. You see the emotion he puts in, and that's not an act because he's on stage. He really is that emotional every day, and he really is that passionate every day. So.
Need to ask if there's anyone in the audience who is here as a representative of Portage. And if so, please. Besides Scott, is there anyone else? And don't be shy, because my goodness, the success stories that are coming out of this tonight, pretty remarkable. Our next recipient is Matthew Doherty of Enterprise FHS. And here, once again, to present is Peter Hobbs. And Peter Hobbs, don't feel guilty about being up here. We love hearing from you. Yeah.
Matt felt like he spent his 5 years in high school with his priorities outlined. He described himself as not focused or committed. He ended up in the Enterprise program in the beginning of 2016 with the goal of, quote, getting his diploma to get out and just work. Matt's anger and intellect were two things that stood out first. He quickly completed the program and graduated, however, he still felt lost. Matt entered the work world for a bit, but found something was missing. He turned to drugs and became a heavy user and wound up in Portage. After he had a wake-up call that he had lost sight of what was important. Matt became invested in the Portage program, and after a month realized that there was a benefit to being sober and to try. He recognized the potential within himself that he did not see before, and he began to look for ways to improve himself. After completing Portage, Matt decided he wanted to pursue secondary education. He's currently enrolled in academic courses at NBCC and the New Brunswick Virtual High School in order to meet the entrance requirements to get into university. After he completes these courses, he plans to pursue a degree in the sciences. Congratulations, Matt.
sure the camera's getting my good side. It feels like I was just made it or something. Yeah, no, I have so much to be grateful for, and this is the first time I've ever been recognized in such a way, but I want to thank my mom and my dad above everyone for, bailing me out, picking me up, never giving up on me, supporting me unconditionally, and I couldn't have done it without them. I also want to thank Portage Atlantic for really showing me true purpose, I guess, and I want to thank Mr. Hobbs for really redirecting me a little bit and showing me that, I can do anything.
So do I have 100% agreement in the audience that this is an amazing event? Our next recipient is Mitch Williams of Enterprise Leo Hayes, and here to present is Jennifer Pauley.
It is my honor to introduce Mitchell Williams at this year's Turnaround Awards. However, I also know that Mitch will probably pull me off the stage. It's Mitch. Just go with Mitch. If I rattle on too long, so I'll try to be brief. Mitch joined us at the Enterprise Center on November 6th of this school year. Mitch had transferred over to the program since he had found little success at his home school the previous year. There was concern that Mitch was having a hard time following school rules and attending classes, and that he had become increasingly defiant and was refusing to do schoolwork. Mitch was also having a hard time finding his motivation to complete school, and instead was making some unhealthy and unwise decisions in his personal life. When Mitch began the program, he quickly established himself as a diligent and dedicated student. Mitch's attendance was consistent, and he was always polite and cooperative. Mitch could be counted on every morning for a big smile and a tale about his latest car or car trouble, like the fact his hood blew onto his windshield twice while driving on the highway, with a giant hole in the floor of his Honda Civic, or that he put his mother's car in the ditch. He had come to the realization that he needed to and wanted to complete his schooling, and with the support of his parents and his own determination, he was able to find success. Mitch plans to continue his education at NBCC, where he wants to pursue a trade in either carpentry or auto mechanics, and hopefully purchase the car of his dreams, a Toyota MK4 Supra. Let's hope that he has figured out how to safely latch the hood by then. Congratulations, Mitch. It has been a pleasure to work with you.
I would like to thank my parents for helping me and not giving up. And also I'd like to thank Peter Hobbs and Miss Polly for being good teachers and not giving up on me either.
Our next recipient is Jonah Vino of Keswick Ridge School, and here to present is Annette Stauhauer.
Hi, Jonah is a kind, respectful, sensitive young man who has often found school and life challenging. He's had many different situations thrown at him, yet he continues on with a smile on his face. Keswick Ridge School is a small, rural, K-8 school, which Jonah has attended since kindergarten. Jonah did not find school particularly easy and often gave up before much work was really completed. When he was in grade 6, I really had to work hard to get his work handed in, usually quite late, and not really showing a whole lot of effort. It was like he'd given up on school and on himself. His self-esteem was not in a good place, and Jonah would spend more time arguing about why he shouldn't do something than it actually would have taken to have just done the work. The excuses were well rehearsed. Grade 7 was a challenging year for Jonah at a personal level. Many things were happening in his home life that made it amazing that he made it to school all the days that he did. In spite of that, or perhaps because of that, he started to work harder at school. When he started to work harder and ask more questions, he realized he could do the assigned work, resulting in more assignments completed, better work being done, and more positive feedback. This past year, Jonah has worked very hard to learn as much as he can. He's cooperative in class and is willing to help anytime he's asked. Perhaps the concerns about going to high school have caused some of these changes. Perhaps maturity has played its role, but he has turned his academic world around. It isn't perfect, but whose is? He has to work hard, but he seems willing to do so, and this will stand him in good stead when he moves on to the next chapter of his life, which will be high school. Jonah, I'm very proud of you and all that you have done to improve your academics. Keep smiling, stay positive, and remember that your teachers believe in you. Congratulations.
I'd like to thank all the staff at Kingswood School and my parents and grandmother. And that's pretty much it.
Blair Stanley, a grade 8 student at Stanley Consolidated School, is our next recipient, and here to present to Blair is Brandon LeBlanc.
Good evening. That's the best I can do there. I've known Blair since fall of 2015 when he began grade 6 at our school. I was his homeroom teacher and I taught him a handful of other subjects as well, including French. From the very start, I knew that Blair was a really nice young man. We bonded right away over similar interests. Blair and his dad often played badminton on Sunday evenings at our community badminton times, and I often played with them. And I got to know him really well outside of the classroom there. He was learning how to play badminton with people much older than him, and I got to see him in a very relaxed and comfortable environment. But at school, it was a different side that I saw. He was naturally very shy, as many children that are entering middle school often are. He had trouble making connections with his classmates. Occasions where he would try to interact with his peers, he just came off as awkward. He didn't always know what to say, and sometimes he would come across as rude. It was heartbreaking to see him make an effort only to retreat within himself. As he grew, he began to disrupt class to the point where he knew the only way he could stop was to isolate himself away from others. He was very anxious to speak in front of his peers, and so when you're learning a second language, that can really make things difficult. Still, he is a very fortunate young man. He has a strong, supportive family. His parents worked closely with the teaching staff, keeping the communication open. He was held accountable for his actions. He served his fair share of detentions. We knew as a team, both at school and at home, that these were crucial years for Blair. We knew we needed to stay consistent and to keep structure in place so that he could find success. Blair's anxiety prevented him from participating in most school events. He didn't attend field trips, didn't join clubs. Despite his rapidly growing skill and my constant urging and pestering him, he chose not to join our badminton club. In October of 2017, this past year, Blair approached me to ask me if he could play on our badminton team. Naturally, I was thrilled to see him take such a big step. He not only came to every practice, he participated in the regional tournament, winning silver in boys doubles play. His confidence grew exponentially from that point forward. Using extracurricular activities as an incentive to take a leap of faith was the beginning of a remarkable turning point. Blair is still anxious about speaking in front of his peers. I practically had to bribe him to attend tonight, actually. He still has his awkward moments, and when I notice them, I remind him. Sometimes I say, Blair, you're picking. And he knows what I mean. Rather than isolate himself, he sits with friends in class now. He helps guide his peers in assignments. He continues to play badminton year-round, still playing on Sundays, and he's even joined the volleyball team this year. The more involved he gets, the less awkward the moments become. I'm really proud to teach Blair. A day does not pass when he doesn't visit me before homeroom announcements just to say hello and to catch up. I look forward to these visits. He did not change because he was forced to. He changed because he realized that despite the support of a loving family from teachers and from classmates, that nothing would change unless he made the decision to do so. I am inspired by his courage to rise above his reservations, to strive to better himself, and to be the best version of himself that he can be. The high school transition will be equally challenging, but I feel that Blair has the mindset and skill set to face any challenge with the likelihood of great success. I'm really pleased that I am here to see it. Congratulations, Blair.
I'd like to give a thanks to friends, teachers, and family that helped me get to where I am today. I'd also like to give a thanks out to everyone here supporting me today, and I'd also like to thank my coach, Mr. LeBlanc and Son O'Hara, for helping me join sports and get to where I need to be. Thank you.
Our next recipient is a grade 12 student at Oromocto High School, goes by the name of Brody Anderson, and here to present is Maxine McConnell.
Reached the age, need the glasses. It's my pleasure to introduce to you this evening Brody Anderson. Unfortunately, this speech was supposed to be delivered by two of his teachers, Ms. Flynn and Mr. Grattan. However, both of them couldn't be here this evening because of unforeseen circumstances, and they asked me to stand in for them. And I feel very honored to read these words to you, Brody. As I told you when we were standing over there, I hope I can fill these teachers' shoes and read their words as they were written about you. But before I get into their words, I do want to add that I am Brody's vice principal. I've known him for 4 years now. And I'd like to tell you that this guy standing before you tonight is genuine. He is the real deal. Brody is my tell it like it is guy, even if you don't want to hear what he has to say. Sometimes it works out for him, sometimes it blows up majorly. I met Brody when he arrived in grade 9, and Brody has had a lot of diversity in his young life, and he was struggling to find his way when we met. He got involved in some activities that were not in his best interest and spent some time with me in my office on a few occasions. We had some tough conversations, but they were always respectful. Brody needed connection and to know he was cared about, and it slowly came together for him. And I can say that when Brody was in grade 10, I declared that Brody was going to be my Turnaround Award nominee. And I'm really proud that he's standing here before you tonight. I can't tell you how many times Brody has gone out of his way to say good morning to me or hello to me when our paths crossed in a busy hallway, and that always made my day. Now, I'll share to you Ms. Flynn and Mr. Grattan's words. Ms. Flynn writes, Brody Anderson was a student in my grade 11 math class last fall. It was a dynamic class, and Brody has a big voice and liked to share his tell-it-like-it-is opinions. In fact, at times when class seemed like a gong show, I could count on that booming voice to bring some laughter to the room. When I see him around the school and in the community, he's always pleasant and polite, and usually has a witty line or a funny story to share. Last fall, I received an email letting me know that Brody would be missing some time rather unexpectedly. It was then that I found out some more of the backstory about this young man with the bright blue eyes and who works part-time at the Giant Tiger and cherishes his truck. You see, what I didn't know about Brody is that he has experienced more adversity than most of us will go through in a lifetime. Brody has lost both his father and uncle to sudden deaths, and yet still manages to show his resilience and strength of character. The grade 12 Brody that I know showed maturity and perseverance when he had personal and academic setbacks. He came to class, made the time to get his schoolwork done, and I even think he got the trig ratios figured out. It's hard to imagine that when Brody started at OHS in grade 9, he struggled to adjust. When we asked Brody what happened to turn things around for him, he says he remembers talking to his grade 9 science teacher, Mrs. Cote, and developing a good connection with her. I talked to Mrs. Cote, and she smiled as she told me about the talks that she and Brody would have, where she apologized for all the horrible things that happened to him, but stressed to him that people would treat him with the same kind of respect that he gave. I know that Brody took this message to heart because I see him now. I see the smiles, and I hear the gratitude. Mr. Grattan wrote, I wish to express my regrets for being unable to share these words to you in person, Brody. I ask that you accept them as they are and to accept my apologies. When Brody arrived in my grade 10 English class a few years ago, I was concerned for his success long term. Brody seemed to have that I don't care attitude. You told me to do that. And overall, he seemed disconnected. However, something seeming to be true by definition is not the case. So it was for my read on Brody at the time. Brody wasn't disconnected, but was looking for a connection with me as his teacher. That connection came in the form of a conversation. I distinctly remember Brody being delivered to my class by Miss McConnell. And the three of us had one of those hallway chats. Brody's trust in and connection with Miss McConnell was evident when she vouched for me and my interest in helping him. It was like the light came on for Brody and his guard went down. After this conversation, Brody showed how great a student and how great a person he is. It was a pleasure to have him in my class. Many times I leaned on him to step up as a leader for others in the room, and he did. Brody returned to me the following year for a one-semester class and kept up this level of engagement and has been successful in many classes to date. I have great respect for Brody's interest in joining the military and enjoyed listening to him discuss his alternative plans after high school with enthusiasm. I feel that I saw the best of Brody after his turnaround occurred, and I consider myself lucky to have been part of this experience. Brody, these words tonight from your teachers are just a small sample of the teachers and staff at OHS who think you are a perfect recipient of this award. Brody intends to follow in his grandfather's, father's, and uncle's footsteps and is joining the military. All of us at OHS are proud knowing that you will be a strong, respectful, and proud Canadian soldier. Congratulations.
Well, not much of a group speaker, but I want to thank Miss McConnell for always being by my side. My grandparents, Peter and Maureen, and congratulations to everyone that got this award.
You know, it's not really all that surprising to hear some of the stories tonight, the turnaround part of the stories tonight, because when I hear the teachers and the vice principals speaking, I mean, you obviously have such a talent, and we appreciate the hard work that you put into these kids. It's really making a difference. Our next recipient is in grade 12 at Oromocto High School. His name is Andrew Barnett, and here to present is again Maxine McConnell and Emma Appleby.
Me again, sorry. So I am super excited to introduce you to Andrew Barnett. How do I introduce you to Andrew? I knew of Andrew before I actually met him. As his VP, I would receive reports on his transgressions in some of his classes with his teachers. His tardiness, his quick to disagree personality, his frequent use of the F-bomb. I think it is safe to say Andrew was a force to be reckoned with. He could go from 0 to 60 in a few short nanoseconds, and it was not always pleasant for those of us around him. His teachers, his friends sometimes, his parents, his long-suffering VP. I learned very quickly to notice the warning signs that Andrew was not having a good day. Many of our issues stem from Andrew's love of wearing hats and hooded sweaters. Everyone paid the price when he was not having a good day, wanting nothing more than to hide under his hood and just go about it. As Andrew learned to trust me and come to me for help and advice, our relationship took a really positive turn. He realized that I or his teachers were not out to get him, and that sometimes he had to do what was expected, not always what he wanted. Andrew and our school community lost a wonderful young man a few years ago, and Andrew and his family were personally affected by this. Watching Andrew comfort others and offer a shoulder to those who needed it when he needed it himself really opened my eyes to Andrew's growth. You may not remember this, Andrew, but it was during this horrible time that you stopped me when I was asking you how you were doing, and you said, "Enough about me, Miss McConnell, how are you doing? I know Deb was special to you too." You didn't know it, but you made me cry that day, you little brat. But there was one decision that may have cemented the turnaround you were making. You, and only you, were foremost in my brain when I petitioned our new principal to relax the hat and hood policy. What a glorious day on the first day of school in September of 2016. Andrew has never been in my office again because of a hat or a hood.
We're taking on this today. And, Andrew, former Beatle member Ringo Starr once said, "I'd like to end up sort of unforgettable." Well, Andrew, I think you nailed it. When I was preparing for the school year in September of this year, one name from my class list jumped out, Andrew Barnett. My mind immediately flashed to a vignette of moments in time with Andrew. For me, in each of these moments, I was merely the passerby, a person in the right place at the right time. Regardless of the circumstances, Andrew would always greet me with a pleasant salutation and reassure me that he could handle it. As the semester progressed, I soon became aware of who Andrew really was, a young man dedicated to bettering his life and a person dedicated to his friends. As a teacher of English language arts, I frequently ask my students, what does that look like? For example, if they write something as great, I ask them, what does great look like to you? Well, once Andrew entered my classroom, I soon saw what being a good person looks like. It looks like someone who asked the younger hockey players at the rink what they liked best about the sport and what they were most proud of. You see Andrew as a referee in our community. It looks like showing up in the driveway of a friend who's struggling every single school day just to be sure that person could get to school okay. It looks like making sure your friend who is dealing with the grief of losing a loved one has someone there for them when your own heart is breaking. Andrew, according to Winnie the Pooh, a friend is someone who helps you when you're down, and if they can't, they lay down beside you and listen. And that is what you look like to me.
Folks, I just wanted to attribute Andrew's turnaround to the mature young man you see before you, but we would be remiss if we didn't recognize one person in the room, well, his parents, for sure, Chantel and Mike, but also Michaela. The love of a good woman has certainly helped Andrew. The three admin assistants that work at Oromocto High School, of course, Andrew, they see the good, the bad, and the ugly every day. And to hear these women gush about how much you have matured and how sweet you are. It's heartwarming. So you've charmed your hearts and you've charmed your way into many hearts. So Andrew, congratulations. We wish you all the best.
Hey, heck, he's charmed his way into my life too.
Well, I didn't really prepare a speech, but I'll try my best. So first I'd like to say thanks to my parents, my friends, my amazing girlfriend for helping me through everything, even when times got really hard. And the other day when I was asked about the importance of this award by Mr. Randy Smith, I didn't understand it until right now. It feels like a huge accomplishment, because I really think it is. I'm really proud of myself for getting to where I am today. I hope everybody else feels the same way. Thank you very much.
So I want to know too if it's a prerequisite that you had to be really beautiful this year and really handsome, because everybody who stood up here tonight, holy, looking sideways and seeing these lovely long eyelashes on one of the guys, like really a treat. Our next recipient is McKenna Wolf LaFleur of Oromocto High School in grade 12, and here to present is Lee Murray and Gary Mason. Oh, it'll be good to see you, Lee.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests. It's my pleasure to present McKenna Wolf LaFleur. I read the CBC article on her this morning on the internet, and she talks about the good McKenna and the bad McKenna. And I only knew the bad McKenna for a couple of weeks a year ago, and she didn't stay with us very long. She was in my history class, and bright young woman, started out great, then decided that she wasn't going to come into class anymore, and then realized an email from her mother that she was off to Ontario to live with her grandmother, and I know that must have been a very courageous thing to do. Whatever the grandmother did, you should bottle that and sell it, because she came to me again just this past fall, and she took my law class, and outstanding. That's all I can say. Her marks, top of the class. She was a great contributor to the room. I started to notice that she was coming late to class a little bit. I'm like, all right, well, it's making me look bad, getting this in the bud, and got out in the hallway, and I said, you know, McKenna, you make me look bad, you gotta come to class a little sooner. She's like, well, Mr. Murray, I'm helping out with the Breakfast for Learners program at our school. And I went, wow. So then I really started to notice that she was taking on this leadership role in the class, and that didn't go unnoticed. There were some others that weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing, and McKenna went out of her way to help those kids, try to see the light, try to get on the right path. And so I was just impressed by not just her academic ability. I knew she had that. I knew that from the first day I met her in grade 11. I knew she was very capable of great things. I'm extremely proud of what you've done. You're definitely deserving of this award. I know you're going to go on and do us very proud. I know Mr. Nason has a few things that he would like to say about you as well. So I'll hand over the mic to you.
Thank you. You know, being a kid's hard, right? You guys know that. And there's a lot of decisions, a lot of choices to make. And, you know, it's easy to say yes. It's easy for your parents to say yes. You can do whatever you want. You can do this and that. But that's not always the best thing. Sometimes, you know, you have to say no. And saying no can be hard. It comes with sometimes arguments, and it comes with heartbreak and tears. But sometimes no means I love you. Sometimes no might say or mean that I care about you, or that you need to make better decisions. And I think, you know, in the conversations with McKenna's mom over the years, there was a lot of no's. There was a few yeses, I'm sure there from time to time, but there were some no's. We're not really pleased with what you're doing now. We'd like you to consider doing something different. And you know, you've heard the statement before, it takes a village to raise a child, but I think in this case it took 2 provinces to raise a child, because there was a little stint last year that took place in the Ottawa region, and as Mr. Murray mentioned, a lot of care and love and attention brought on by grandmother and grandfather. And I think also that McKenna made mention of the fact that, you know, she said, I spent a couple of months at a Catholic school, you know, complete with uniforms and the whole works. And after that, you know, OHS seemed pretty cool. The teachers were pretty chill compared to what they were expecting of me up there. So she came back to school, to Ormocto High School this year, and I think she came back really focused. She even went to summer school to clear up a couple of credits that she didn't get from last year. And she came and she mentioned this to me earlier in the year, I'm going to win a Turnaround Achievement Award. Like, she had that in mind, and I thought, you know, that takes a lot of chutzpah to make that comment. And you know what? And she's done it. She's backed it up. She's here tonight. So I talked about, Mr. Murray had mentioned some of the things that she's done with the Breakfast for Learning, but she's also been involved with Tech Crew and GSA and swim team and rugby. And she's got an average of around 90. She's been accepted to St. Thomas, and she hopes to get into social work in the future. So I used the word no a lot in the first part of what I was saying, but you know, I want to say yes a couple of times. Have you done it? Yes. Have you achieved great things? Yes. Will you continue to do great things? I hope so. Yes, I'm sure you will. I'd like to present to you Turnaround Achievement Award winner, McKenna Wolf.
So I want to thank a lot of the staff at Ormocto High School, because like was said, I did go away, and when I came back, they didn't really remember the bad. They were just ready to accept me for the good. I want to thank Mr. Murray and Mr. Nason for nominating me, because this was a big goal, and I didn't really know what it would mean until I got up here, but it definitely means a lot, like Mr. Smith was saying earlier in the week, because I like to bug him every day after co-op. Yeah. I definitely want to thank my grandparents, because without them having taken me in, I don't know where I would be right now, and I definitely would not be the person standing up here today. I also want to thank my mom, because I definitely have one of the best moms, and she's not just my mom, she's my best friend. And yeah, thank you.
We need a box of Kleenex at that table, at Mom's table. Our next recipient is Jaden Phillips, grade 8 student at Devon Middle School, and here to present is Laura Steves.
Good evening. My name is Laura Steves, and I'm a grade 8 math teacher at Devon Middle School. Brené Brown has said, owning our story and loving ourselves through the process is the best thing we can ever do. Jaden Phillips owns her story, and I'm here to share it with you. And I'm going to try really hard not to cry. Jaden is a grade 8 student who has been in my homeroom and math class for the last 2 years. The change I've seen in her over the last 2 years is one I never could have predicted. I met this lovely young lady when she started, I met this lovely young lady when she started grade 7. Prior to that, I only knew her as a little spitfire who I occasionally had a run-in with on the playground. If I were to pick Jaden's best quality, it would be her ability to make connections and stay loyal to them. She is incredibly resilient. These things bring about her brightest moments and have seen her through her darkest days. After a turbulent year in grade 6 where she was unfocused, working well below her potential, and excelling mostly in disturbing the learning environment, we had hoped that grade 7 would bring on brighter days as her home life started to settle down around her. When Jaden walked into my grade 7 homeroom in 2016, her smile lit up my classroom. In the classroom, it was clear that she was incredibly bright, and wow, this girl's bright. But outside the classroom, the choices she was making didn't quite match up. Older peer groups had her testing her limits, and if there's one thing you need to know about this girl, it's that she is not going to back down from a challenge. Looking back, this was really just a blip on the radar. Fast forward to grade 8, new school year, new peers, new start, new hair, right? When we put our classes together for grade 8, she was placed in my homeroom again so that she could work on her leadership skills, and she has not let us down. It did take Jaden a few months to find her stride and a new group of peers, but once that happened, we started to see some really big changes. With the support of her amazing mom, Eliza, we were able to get her motivated to come to class on a daily basis. We made attendance a priority, and she started to look forward to what she might do after she finished high school. Then in early December, Jaden was dealt another blow when her father suddenly passed away. At school, we were really worried about how she would handle something like this. But this is where I used that word earlier, resiliency. This is where that kicks in. Jaden put her entire family's needs ahead of hers. Her mom and her brothers were her main concern. Since this turning point in her life, Jaden has put school ahead of many other choices. She talks about the future and is looking forward to finally going to high school. Can't wait to go to high school, Mrs. Steves. Makes me feel bad sometimes. So that she can be challenged in the classroom and truly find her stride. Jaden is an active member of our adapted phys ed program where she works with our special needs students a couple of times a week. She's also a positive influence in our First Nations room where she's known for her amazing Dutch braids, which was corrected for me today where I've said French braids. No, Mrs. Steves, they're Dutch. Oops. Kindness to everyone, no matter what their struggles are. She's kind, she's caring, and she's caring to everyone, no matter what. Oh, I've read that part already. Sorry. She's an advocate for those who are in need. When she speaks of her home life, I hear the exact same qualities coming through. Kindness, caring, and fairness. Nelson Mandela said, "The greatest glory in living lies not in falling, but rising every time we fall." Jaden, this is you. You are allowed to fall, but rising is one of the best things you do. Keep rising because you have the chance to grab the stars. I am so proud of the changes you've made this year, and I can't wait to see what the future holds for you. I'm honored to present you with this award. This is definitely one of the highlights of my teaching career. We, the staff of Devon Middle School, and there's quite a few of us here, we're very, very proud of you. Congratulations.
I just wanted to thank my mom and my grandmother and Miss Steves and Miss Shirley and Angie for being here and supporting me, and Mr. Deland and Mrs. Oxford.
Our next recipient is Kayla Shannon, a grade 8 student at Harold Peterson Middle School, and here to present the award to Kayla is Melinda Sear.
Good evening. When Kayla started in grade 6, she was timid, closed off, and apprehensive almost all the time. Any slight bump sent her into a tailspin from which she took a long time to regroup. She stayed in her little world and would not willingly engage with others. She viewed herself as an outsider, and negative self-talk was her norm. In grade 7, we started to notice small changes in Kayla. She was beginning to accept who she was and was willing to accept help when she needed it. She wouldn't shy away from being called on or refuse to answer. She was more willing to partner with someone, and she was sitting and connecting with peers who had the same interests. With a bit of support, Kayla tried out for drama, and she won a small part in the school production. Kayla was still hard on herself, but her grumbling became less frequent, and her scowls began to fade. Now in grade 8, we are amazed at the difference in Kayla. She has made a good friend with whom she shares many common interests. It is such a joy to see her chatting away with other peers who share her love of anime and manga. This year, Kayla wrote a poem for our Remembrance Day assembly. and she was confident enough to have it read for the whole school to hear. This year, she auditioned for drama without prompting or support, and she has a much bigger part this year than last. Her drama teachers said that she has learned to take direction really well. She has a great stage presence and is one of the most committed members of the group. Kayla has such creativity to share and a unique perspective, which she now confidently claims. She is a wonderful artist and an amazing storyteller. Her face lights up when she gets to talk about things she enjoys so much. We have never seen Kayla smile more often than we have this year. The change has been remarkable. She should be very proud of all the hard work she has put into becoming the lovely young lady we see now. She has not only changed in the classroom, she has made tremendous strides socially with peers. We at HP firmly believe that Kayla is deserving of this award. We are so proud of who she is becoming because she has had to work very hard to get there.
I would like to thank all of those who helped me throughout my years in middle school and some of the years before. I would mostly like to thank my best friend Abigail. She's been a great help in my life. And I'll keep trying to be positive no matter how negative my life becomes.
Here's a familiar face, Dallas Gooden of Stanley Consolidated, a grade 12 student there, and here to present Dallas's award is Colin Dolan.
Good evening, everyone. I'd just like to start with a quick little story. I promise it won't take too long. This afternoon, I was at Tim Hortons in line, and I heard a lady in front of me talking. Something must have happened with, I think it was her teenage son, talking about how kids today have no respect, and our school system is going to just crap, and that there's no hope for anyone. And I was a little hungry, and I'd been locked in the basement for the last 4 days at district, and I tapped her on the shoulder, and I said, "Excuse me." I said, "I am going to an award ceremony tonight for 25 people that have gone through some of the most terrible things you can imagine." And she just kind of stared at me, and she turned around. What she didn't see is I kind of gave her one of those little things, and I hope where am I going with this? My point is, I think it's important that nights like tonight get celebrated. We're inundated with so much negativity, and we hear so much what's wrong with our public education system. But people tonight, like your Logan's story, Josh Wood and Mitch, who I haven't seen in 6 years, just how good, there's so many good things going on in these schools that kids like this that honestly could have given up because they've had supports and people that care about them, and because of our system, they're able to be here tonight. So I just wanted to... And one of these kids is beside me. Dallas came to us from Woodstock, and we didn't know much about him. The introduction I had to him was our admin assistant passed a CUME file to me, and I said, "Is this going to be on the resource caseload?" And she said, "I don't know, she's got about 7 acronyms next to his name, so chances are yes." So anyone in the school system, when you see a CUME file show up and they have a bunch of letters, an I, and B, or P, and L, and a P, you know, you're going to be working with them. So we had a lot of, we were a little worried what life was going to be like with Dallas coming in. We met with the mom. We didn't really know what to expect, but I think this is probably the best example starting fresh. Dallas had a rough time in his previous school, and I think he just needed to come to a new place. And when Dallas started off, he was a little quiet. He often blamed other people for his problems. Certainly is, maybe. But as Dallas has gotten older, he's become someone that has been reluctant to be involved in things, to being an advocate for himself. He's become an advocate for people diagnosed with FAS. Rather than just try and start a unified basketball program, he's become our school captain. He made note that he wanted to become involved in upholstery, so he upholstered all our staff room chairs. He's just become. He also made me a beautiful Montreal Canadiens table, and that was painful for him. He hates them so much. He did it for me, and it was beautiful. It's down in my basement right now. And from flipping back when he had come into that school, and we had said if he had been anywhere allowed near a reciprocating saw, it's a no chance, but he's designed, and he's done such a good, and he hasn't done it without help. Me and Dallas's mom, Sarah, became very good phone friends. Sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, but we've kept good humor about it. And sometimes it was laugh or cry, and I think we've decided to laugh. So I guess Dallas, even though I might no longer be roaming the halls and we won't have our daily chats, you're going to be one of those kids that someone mentioned earlier. You're going to be one of those ones that you don't forget about. So it's my pleasure to present you with this award.
I'm gonna try this. As you all know, hi, my name is Dallas. This year I'm graduating from Stanley Consolidated School, and as you heard from Mr. Dolan, you can't see it in me, but I have FAS. I was homeschooled for quite a while, and then in grade 10 I came to Stanley. I want to thank Mr. Dolan and Miss Lardner, Miss O'Keefe, pretty much every teacher, Mr. LeBlanc, everybody for helping me and kind of helping me through my journey of the last few years I've been at Stanley Consolidated School. I want to thank my family and friends for standing by me when I needed help. A special thanks to my best friend Spencer for helping me stay on the right track. He's here today with me. Congratulations to everybody who's got this. I am happy, and I'm also upset that this one beside me left. And as I've always told him now, since he left me, the Montreal Canadiens symbol, it looks like a toilet seat. And I just want to thank everybody. Thanks for this award. It means a lot. Thank you very much.
Our next recipient is Joseph Story, a grade 12 student at Minto Memorial High School, and here to present the award is Nelson Arsenault.
Good evening. There have been many tough acts to follow, and that last one was going to be hard to follow. So we're here tonight to celebrate two of our students at from Minto High School. We have Joe standing next to me and Alex, who's in the audience. But I'd like to recognize three former students, Philip Cameron, Riley Fanjoy, and Andrew Barnett. And Andrew, you're back there somewhere. And it is true, everything they said about Andrew. He was a ladies' man, even in grade 6. And I do once remember saying, you cannot hit on supply teachers. It's an honor to be here tonight. And tonight, as I talk about Joe, when Joe arrived at Minto Memorial High School in grade 9, he arrived with very limited skills and coping mechanisms. He struggled to communicate with staff and peers, and he often exhibited aggression towards staff and fellow students. He had difficulty with socially adapting, and he had his certain academic challenges. To say that Joe and his behavior were challenging at times is a real understatement. He didn't comprehend the concept of personal space, and as such, because of this, he made his peers and staff nervous. And I recall Joe during his first days in kindergarten. I was a middle-level teacher, and I can remember passing Joe in the hallway, and we call him Gentle Joe today, but Gentle Joe was not always Gentle Joe, and he was intimidating. Within the first 2 years of Joe being a student at Minto Memorial High School, there were great trials and tribulations regarding Joe. However, in these last 2 years, Joe started to make significant improvements across the board. Many supports were put in place to help him. There's a member of our audience tonight, and that's Joe's mom, Edith. And Edith, if you could stand for a moment, just if you could show us where you are. Edith, we've talked a lot about how our students receive support, and I recall Edith for all the years that Joe has been a student in our system. Edith has been tireless in her advocacy for her child. And that's one thing I can say about Edith and her family. They've done their very best, and they've been movers, they've been shakers, and everything that has happened. We can put our academic supports in place, but without the support that Joe has received, I'm not sure that Joe would be standing here tonight and celebrating with all of us. We, the students and staff at Minto Memorial High School, and these are the words of your teachers, not just me. These are what your teachers want to say about you, Joe. Don't worry, there are good things too. All good things. We are extremely proud of the strides that he has made over the past 4 years. He most definitely describes this award, again to Joe's parents, Morris and Edith. We would like to say thank you for your help, your patience, and your support over the years. Without you, Joe would not be where he is today. Last but not least, we would like to say thank you to you. Giant Joe is often a name that we hear. Gentle Joe. We very rarely hear just Joe, but it's something attached to it. So Giant and Gentle Joe. We are excited for you. We will miss you. We will celebrate with you as a month and a half years in your graduation approaches. We've talked to Edith. Are you sure that we can't keep him at least one more year? She's confident that he's going to move on. But we love you, Joe, and we're very proud of you.
Our next recipient is Alex Lawson of Minto Memorial High School, grade 12 student there, and here to present is Michael Sorensen, but is it you again?
No, that's
okay, sorry, yes. Okay. Nelson Arsenault again.
Standing next to me is a powerhouse at Minto Memorial High School. Alex is really a dream student for us at our school. And I'll read what your teachers have had to say about you, Alex, and it's good. When Alex entered grade 12 in 2014, he faced numerous academic challenges. He had significant gaps in both literacy and numeracy, and as a result of these gaps, he was unable to meet with success in the classroom. He worked diligently to succeed, but lacked the skills to overcome the academic hurdles that were in front of him. When he came to our school, he was not following any plan. He was not on the PLP or received any kind of educational support, and consequently, he fell further behind. It was uncertain whether Alex would even pass grade 9 if things didn't change. One thing that was evident from the beginning about Alex was his engaging personality. He's charming, and I can't take that away from him. And his ability to help whenever it is needed. Do you have a screwdriver in your back pocket tonight, Alex? Or a hammer or anything like that? He would never hesitate to lend a helping hand or to volunteer when something needed to be done. It was very evident, even in grade 9, that he would be someone at MAHS that would rely upon to get things done. And really, Alex is that child, is that student that he goes around from class to class and he says, is there anything that I can get for you? Is there anything that I can do for you? He changes brakes, he assists in the shop. He can swing a hammer like I haven't seen anyone swing, and I was close to it one day. By the end of grade 9, it was clear that Alex required academic support in order to move forward. His parents were contacted. They were extremely supportive and quickly agreed to have some modifications put in place. Fast forward to the year 2018, and we are standing here tonight, and we are happy to say that Alex made significant improvements academically. He is conscientious. He is a young man who wants to do well. He is not afraid to put the time or effort in to meet success. With regards to his social development, we want to say that Alex is one of the most sincere young men that we have had the pleasure of educating at Minto Memorial High School. His infectious smile is ever present, and his friendly demeanor is a role model for others. We truly believe that Alex when he leaves us in June, that he will flourish and that he will meet success wherever his Ram 1500 takes him. He is dedicated, he's personable, and he is extremely hardworking. To his parents, Alvina and George, thank you for such a great young man and for being so open to allowing us to support him in his needs. It is because of you that he is here getting this award tonight. It doesn't happen alone. You should be proud as we are. Finally, to Alex, we want you to know that the students and staff of Minto Memorial High School appreciate you and will most certainly miss you. I have one more thing to say to you before we leave the stage. Alex often arrives to his workplace before the school day even starts. He works at a car wash and he does a number of odd jobs, and if you need, I can give you his number and whatnot. He likes to make money. One thing I need to say to you, you owe me $5. The $5 I put in the machine to wash my truck the other day crinkled up and didn't give me the change, so I'll be looking for my $5. We congratulate you. And one of Alex's big expressions is right on. Congratulations, and you deserve this honor.
Thank you, Mr. Arsenault. First of all, I would like to thank Kingswood and the Turnaround Achievement Committee for this award. I'm very honored to receive it. I would also like to thank the teaching staff and educational assistants of Minto Memorial High School for giving me the opportunities and the assistance I needed in order to make this success. Finally, I would like to thank my parents, George and Alvina, for their love and support. It's because of your encouragement and guidance that I am here this evening. Thank you.
And I do hope I'm going to pronounce your name right, Miguel. Is it Miguel Longstaff? And here to present the award is Melissa Wilson-Smith. And Miguel goes to Bliss Carmen Middle School and in grade 8.
Good evening.
I'm so honored to be standing here next to this young man. Upon the first few days of our school year, we had the usual meetings to discuss the academic and behavioral needs of our incoming students. Quite honestly, Miguel's name was mentioned many more times than I'm sure he's even aware of. Miguel came to me, his grade 8 homeroom and language arts teacher, with a list of academic, behavioral, and social issues. Over the first few days of school, I was confused as I tried to match the notes I had to my students. Was this red-haired young man truly the Miguel that my notes discussed? As the weeks passed and Miguel consistently impressed me, I had to go to my team and confirm that he was, in fact, that aforementioned student. Although Miguel may have a little extra energy to work off on a daily basis, he has shown our team and the administration that he has matured and has tried to turn his behavior and academic achievement around. When I asked Miguel how many times he visited the office last year, he giggled and said, a lot. I then asked him how many times this year, and he said, less than 5, with a proud grin. It seems that Miguel has decided independently to improve his situation, and as a result, those around him are benefiting. Miguel takes part in a number of clubs, is the first person to volunteer to help out both inside and outside the classroom, offers to stay longer than others to clean up, and genuinely respects the adults around him. I'm confident that if Miguel can enter LHS with the same motivation that he shows me on a daily basis, he will continue to impress those around him. Miguel, keep moving forward, never quit. When you fall, get back up. What happened yesterday, happened yesterday. Every day is anew, use it. Keep your feet on the track, move closer. Determine your dreams and chase them.
I just want to say thank you to my teacher, my mom, and my friends.
Our next recipient is Connor McIntosh, a grade 8 student at George Street Middle School, and here to present the awards. The award are Michelle Keith and Janet Robinson.
Connor, I speak on behalf of everybody at George Street, Mrs. Keefe and myself. George Street Middle School has embraced the concept of grit this year, that of perseverance and learning from our mistakes. The only catch is, it is impossible to learn how to deal with adversity when you never experience failure, to develop the ability to adapt without facing challenges, or to grow without struggle. But fortunately for Connor Mack, he's had all those opportunities. Connor came to us in grade 6 with a cautionary tale. He had experienced in his young life his fair share of disappointments, challenges, and struggles. But during the time that he spent at George Street Middle School, his growth has been remarkable, to say the least. We were prepared to receive an angry boy who was not attending school on a full-time basis, required constant supervision, and had the ability to clear a room with his temper. Within a short period of time, Connor was attending full days. Like any new grade 6 student, he made friends, he developed connections, he got involved, and he cared about his schoolwork. It was with each success that he gained confidence in himself and his ability, of which he has no short supply now. Don't get me wrong, the journey from grade 6 to grade 8 hasn't always been a smooth one, and there were challenges along the way. But Connor continued to develop his grit, learn from his mistakes, grow from the struggle. To his credit, Connor was always willing to take the help that was offered to him, which is unique in itself. In the last 3 years, he has taken the help and the support from his classroom teachers, school intervention worker, administrator, guidance, and support workers. In order to do so, he had to take a risk, which would not be an easy task for a child who had not experienced a great deal of stability to that point. Many times, Connor resisted, but eventually learned to trust, fully believing that we had his best interests at heart. In the 3 short years he's been with us, he's gone from being described as being an out-of-control child who would need full-time supervision to a young, confident student who was actively involved in his school life and loved by his teachers, many of which are here tonight. Although Connor would say he does not dislike school, it should be noted it's not his greatest passion. Connor is a football player. To hear him talk about the love for the sport would put a smile on anyone's face. Connor is a natural athlete and believes that he's going all the way. Connor, as your guidance counselor, you and I have had a great deal of discussion about the many adversities that you've faced in your life and the need for you to focus on your future and learn from the past. We found a quote, Mrs. Keefe and I, that we thought was fitting. Life is a football match. Never mind the kicks, because without the kicks, we may never reach the goal. Connor, we are keeping our eyes on you. I can't look at you. You may be leaving George Street, but you will forever be in our hearts and minds. Stay the course. Keep your eye on the future, but don't forget to enjoy the moment. We are so incredibly proud of you. To my friends from FHS that are here tonight, please look after our boy. He's coming to you. So just before you go, I have one more thing to ask of you. I hope you'll do this for us because I need you to sign this football. Because chances are it's going to be worth something.
I'd like to thank my family and most importantly, Ms. Keith and Ms. Robinson for helping me overcome the challenges at school and just developing me into the person that I am today. Without their help, I wouldn't be where I am today, and just thanks.
Next up is Philip Cameron, a grade 12 student at Cambridge Narrows Community School, and here to present the award is Marky Gooden.
Good evening, everyone. And before I share about Philip Cameron, I'd like to share a very sweet story that I heard this evening when I was sitting in the entryway waiting for his mom and his brother and his grandmother to arrive. This was my first time meeting his grandmother and hadn't had an opportunity to do so. She sat down with me and she said, "I want to share something with you." And I said, "Okay." She said, "I've had many children. I have many grandchildren and many great-grandchildren." She said, "But Philip is the first to ever receive an award." And I just thought that that was so it's with great honor that I share a little about Philip Cameron and to present his Turnaround Achievement Award. As Philip's former teacher, I've been part of Philip's life and his family life for many years. When I was informed by Philip's mom, Sam, that Philip was going to receive the Turnaround Achievement Award, I was so excited. And I bring that excitement here tonight for Philip. And it's with great pleasure that we honor this young man tonight. So when I think back of my work with Philip and his challenges he demonstrated in middle level and high school, I remember his efforts that he put forward, his perseverance, and his commitment. Philip knows how to turn challenges into success. Each day, he works at his communication with others, and it's not always easy for Philip. He demonstrates courage and confidence when he needs to take on a new challenge. He's progressed in building strong social skills and today demonstrates them with confidence. If he wasn't always able to perform a specific task the first time, he was always willing to try the second time. And each time he would enter the task with greater ease and confidence. And when he succeeded, he would always give a little smile of accomplishment. Just like that. Philip will graduate from Cambridge Narrows Community School in June of 2018. And his plans to attend New Brunswick College of Craft and Design. He has much ambition to work in the area of graphic design and to learn about the various aspects of visual communication, digital production, publication, and other areas of concentration. Philip will approach his post-secondary education with much enthusiasm and will discover his future of entrepreneurial prospects in the field of graphic design. I believe the best gift for a teacher is to witness students' personal and academic growths. And at Cambridge Narrows Community School, the staff are so fortunate to have students from kindergarten to grade 12. And to see the students develop and graduate and to move on after graduation is a real gift. I must say it's been a real pleasure to be part of this great educational team that has worked with Philip over the years and to witness all of his successes. For this, we are most grateful. Philip, on behalf of the staff, the students, and the community of Cambridge Narrows, we are very excited and very proud of you and wish you all the best in your future. Congratulations, Philip.
I'm not the best at talking to people and just speaking in general, but because of some very special people, I'm up here today. And some of them are in the audience, so if I say your name, stand up so that they know who you are. My family, my mom, my granny, but she doesn't have to stand up because my brother, my guidance counselors, Miss Creighton and Miss Braun. My teachers, Miss Gooden and Mr. Smith. And my principals, Mr. Arsenault and Miss Bishop. thank you for taking time out of your day to put up with me, and thank you, audience, for listening to this speech. I'll continue to change for the better. Good night and thank you.
The last of the recipients tonight is Brianna Boudreau of Chipman Forest Avenue School. Brianna is in grade 12, and here to present the award is Sarah Lutz.
Good evening, everyone, and congratulations to all the Turnaround Achievement Award winners tonight. I am honored to be able to introduce Chipman Forest Avenue School's award recipient, Ms. Brianna Boudreau. Excuse me. Brianna arrived at our school just last year after a major change with living arrangements. With this short amount of time, this lady has made a huge impact at our school. Last year, Brianna was a little introverted and seemed to keep to herself a bit, which is normal. You're coming to a new school with new students. But this year, being her grade 12 year, she's become very involved in extracurricular activities. She's an active member of her student council, played on the basketball and badminton teams. She's also the grad class president. She is even a volunteer with the fire department in the Chipman community. She's a hard worker and a team player. I've heard her say on a few occasions that she loves to work on teams because everyone brings different strengths, and that's so important when trying to reach a goal. I've gotten to know Brianna quite well this year. She is in many of my classes. She is a student that is always striving to do her best. She works well with others. She's a leader by example and is always there to lighten the mood with her wit. She is an inspiration to me. I've watched this young lady set goals, develop a plan on how to reach her goals, and work hard to achieve them. This year, she has been working on her application for the military, which is quite a long process. We spend lots of time going over math problems to prep for the exam, for the entrance exam, talking about potential interview questions. So I was telling her, you gotta really bear yourself up and telling her all these great things about how great she is. And Brianna even spent time explaining her new exercise routine in order to get into the physical shape for the fitness test. She went from wearing a brace after a basketball injury to running every morning. Many would have given up after a diagnosis, but not Brianna. She went to physiotherapy and worked hard to get her strength back. This is just one example of her sheer determination. I could go on all night telling you good stories about Brianna and all the positive things that she's brought to her school, but I know that we want to, after this great night, we want to go home and think about this night. So Brianna, I just want you to know that our staff unanimously voted for you to receive this award. You were very deserving. Look at you. I know how you feel. You're the teacher. And we're excited to hear about all the great goals you will achieve in your life after CFAS. Congratulations.
Hello. I would just like to begin by saying how truly honored I am to be here tonight. Not just from the staff at Chipman Forest Avenue for choosing me, but because of Kingswood in general, for inviting individuals like myself to partake in a chance to be recognized on a great night like this. 2 years ago, I moved out of the only home I knew, and was more than welcome to stay with my loving grandparents while finishing the rest of high school. Before then, I'd hit some pretty rough spots with my immediate family. And I felt as if my whole world had been turned upside down at this time because I was obligated to take a once close family member to a couple of court proceedings. All of this happened while I was beginning my grade 11 year at CFAS. For that entire year, I chose to do 11 3 courses, most of which were in the shop environment. But this is where I learned that I loved welding. It had finally been something I found that I was good at and enjoyed more than anything that year. So fast forwarding to my current and final school year, I decided to challenge myself academically by choosing to do English 11-2 and 12-2, Foundations, Pre-Cal, Chemistry 11-2 and 12-2, Biology, French, and a few others all in the same year. This, as you can imagine, was quite a different task load than my previous 11-3 courses. But I knew I could do more if I put my mind to it. Self-determination, as Lindsay called it. She would know. You could and still can count on me being in her room, getting extra help with something more than actually seeing me in the hallways on breaks. I'm definitely not a 90s student in Miss Lutz's math, chem, or bio classes, but I do try my best and have the initiative to strive to be the best me I can possibly be. I took these courses to challenge myself, not because I thought I would necessarily excel, but without Miss Lutz's guidance and understanding of what kind of student I was, I wouldn't be where I am right now. She has a lot of faith in me and wanted me to achieve the goals that I feel I have almost all achieved. My discipline and willpower have strengthened a lot this year, and I am more than excited to be in the process of joining the Canadian Armed Forces. For the longest time, it has been a goal of mine, and I would like to think that I have the potential now more than ever to be a great candidate. I personally believe that I've come very far from where I used to be, even with all the struggles I've had to deal with. I would just like to thank my grandparents, who can't be here tonight, for supporting me and through all my hardships. Miss Lutz for always believing in me and becoming my inspiration. My father, Colin Boudreau, and his girlfriend, Jim Belair, for being there for me always. I would also like to thank Brenda Ryder and Joey Hebert for coming out to be here tonight and celebrating this evening with me. Most importantly, my incredible boyfriend, Andrew Mallory, who has pushed what I set as limitations for myself and helped me achieve my goals. Without him, I seriously would not be the person I am today. Thank you very much.
Gardner, it's so neat to see the correlation between the messages in your presentation and what we're hearing from the kids tonight. Goal setting is obviously very, very important. The other thing that I've kind of gotten in the habit of doing over the last few years is just jotting down the people who the students have been thanking. So grandparents and mom and dad and brother and teachers and portage, as you know, came up several times. Family, coach, girlfriend Michaela, boyfriend Andrew, Angie was mentioned, best friends Abigail and Spencer, and the list went on and on and on. So again, just going back to the point that I made earlier about the guardian angels in this room tonight, and these students wouldn't be up here tonight if it was not for your support. The other thing that I wanted to note, and I usually do get to say this every night, but McKenna said it very well, and it's that the thing that seems to be happening in the schools, and maybe the teachers can attest to this, is there seems to be a competition now. Some of the kids really want this award. It means a lot to the recipients, and I think that is being communicated back to the students in the school. So we're seeing a lot more stories come out. So I think that, again, it's a testament, Brian, to what this program is doing for schools, and I really do hope that this program does roll out across the country. So again, thank you very much. So an important part of tonight is our scholarship program, and in addition to our special awards, each grade 12 student continuing their education will receive a $1,000 scholarship from Kingswood. A certificate confirming this scholarship will be presented to each student as they move through the receiving line. And since the inauguration of this program 23 years ago, we've honored, as Catherine was saying, more than 910 students, and we presented over $354,000 in scholarships throughout 22 schools in the greater Fredericton area. The funds that support the granting of these scholarships are raised through various fundraisers that are held throughout the year, designed and led by the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards organizing committee. And the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards is a registered Canadian charity. All monies awarded by scholarships will be paid to the student's institution of choice in their name, pending confirmation of acceptance, to be used for tuition, living costs, or other educational expenses incurred through the institution. Any overage, unused fees, or cancellation of student status will see the portion of the funds returned to the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards or the scholarship donor. Our local NHL hockey player, Jake Allen, goaltender to the St. Louis Blues, has established a fundraiser called Program 34 for local charities. He's become a major supporter of the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards, last year donating $30,000. Here's a video.
Hi, this is Jake Allen here. On behalf of my fiancée Shannon and I would like to congratulate all the students this evening for the incredible effort you have made in your life to receive the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Award. Effort, commitment, perseverance can help lead you to great rewards in your life. Now that you're at this stage in your life, the choices you make will be very, very important. Remember to dream big and don't underestimate your ability. Program 34 is a proud supporter of the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards and many great charities in the Fredericton area. Have a great evening.
Recurring theme, that word perseverance is coming through loud and clear. So now we continue the exciting part of this evening's ceremony with the presentation of the individual scholarships to some of tonight's graduating recipients. Now, these scholarships are funded through the support of individuals as well as corporate and institutional partners in our program. The Nashwaaksis Lions Club Scholarship in the value of $1,000 and in its 5th year of being offered will be presented by Lions Ed Evans to Andrew Barnett of Ormocto High School, who will be studying to be a power line technician. Andrew, come on up. A longtime supporter to this program and the provider of beverages at tonight's event, is donating a $1,000 scholarship, which will be presented by Sarah Lightbody. This scholarship is awarded to Matthew Doherty from Enterprise Fredericton. Donated by the Learning Bar will be presented by Colette Wasson. The Learning Bar is a research-based education company that provides tools and solutions designed to inform educators, guide school planning, and give a voice to students, parents, and teachers. And this is the 5th year that the Learning Bar has been a partner in our program, and valued again at $1,000. This scholarship is awarded to Dallas Gooden from Stanley High School. Love to see some of your work, Dallas. You should have brought some for display. Society of Retired Teachers Central Branch Scholarship, valued at $1,000 and presented by President of the branch, Noreen Bonnell, goes to Philip Cameron of Cambridge Narrows Community Center. Philip will be attending the New Brunswick College of Craft and Design, enrolled in graphic art and design. The retired teachers group has been supporting our program for 13 years. Thank you for that. And we are very appreciative of their continued focus on our youth. Each scholarship presented, the next two scholarships are awarded by the New Brunswick Community College, NBCC. NBCC provides post-secondary education on 6 campuses across New Brunswick in more than 90 programs. This is NBC's 8th year as a partner of this program, and each scholarship presented tonight is in the amount of $1,000 and will be presented by Cynthia Shepherd from NBCC Fredericton campus. The NBC Fredericton campus scholarship is awarded to Logan Sharp, Enterprise Center, Fredericton. And as we heard, Logan will be attending NBCC's trades program studying electronic games development. Logan, I have to tell you that I just started yoga recently and I'm really, really loving it. Yeah. The second scholarship to NBCC is awarded to Mitch Williams from Enterprise Center. And Mitch will be attending NBCC to complete the Auto Mechanics Program certification. New scholarship from Brent Buchanan, valued at $1,500. Thank you so much, Brent. Brent has been a long time supporter of the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards. Brent and Ron Vautour will present on behalf of Skid Row Promotions to Alex Lawson from Minto Memorial District. Alex will be attending a heavy equipment course in Sussex in the fall.
Yeah, thanks.
Congratulations, Alex. Sad note, in June 2016, the Kingswood family tragically lost a beautiful person, Jennifer Brewer. Jen was known for her kindness, her beautiful smile, and positive disposition. She touched many lives, and for that, we are left with beautiful memories. While we're saddened by our loss, we know that Jen would be honored that Kingswood is donating an annual $1,000 scholarship in her memory to the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards. The Jen Brewer Memorial of $1,000, presented by Alex Trask, is being awarded to Tiana Sharp. And Tiana will be attending the New Brunswick College of Craft and Design to enroll in the Visual Arts program. New Brunswick scholarship valued at $5,000 will be presented tonight by Jonathan Crosland. UNB offers undergraduate and graduate degrees in more than 60 disciplines and continuing education in a variety of fields. This is UNB's 12th year as a partner of this program. receiving the UNB scholarship and enrolled at UNB Renaissance College studying philosophy with a minor in MCAT MCAT studies is Aiden Mulheron of Fredericton High School. University scholarship in the amount of $2,000 will be shared by 2 students this year and will be presented by Christy Flood, admissions counselor. STU, a small and primarily undergraduate university, is dedicated to liberal arts education. This is St. Thomas' 12th year as a partner in the Kingswood Turnaround Achievement Awards, and this scholarship will be awarded to McKenna Wolf-LaFleur of McKenna has been accepted for the fall term and is enrolled in psychology and criminology. And our second student is Brendan Murphy from Fredericton High School. Brendan, who we'd heard, is going to be enrolling in the criminology program. The Jake Allen Scholarship, valued at $2,000, is being presented by Jake's father, Kurt Allen, athletic director at Leo Hayes High School. Thanks, Kurt, for being here. The recipient is Brianna Boudreau from Chipman Forest Avenue. So again, as you'll recall, Brianna is attending Kingston Military Academy. To welcome a new scholarship to our list. The law firm of Elliott McRae Hill will present a $1,000 scholarship to Josh Wood from Enterprise Center, Fredericton. Josh will be attending community college, enrolled in a culinary arts program, and making the presentation is my good buddy and fellow tennis player, Paul Elliott, a partner at Elliott McRae Hill. Nice to see you, Paul. And our last scholarship is presented in the memory of Nick Plimmer, who worked tirelessly with at-risk students in Districts 17 and 18 at the time. This program was very near and dear to his heart. In past years, we've been privileged to have his wife Janice to present this scholarship. Sadly, she is unavailable this year. In her stead, I would ask Gary DiPaolo to present the scholarship in the amount of $2,000 to Scott Mayette of Enterprise. Making his way, I'll just remind everybody that he will be attending Memorial University in Newfoundland to follow his dream of becoming a teacher. I'm so glad that you've chosen that as your career. the very end, but it's worth saying now, you are the best audience. You clap in all the right places, you laugh in all the right places, you cry in all the right places. So really, being up here, someone as an MC really appreciates that. So you really are a really great audience. So this does conclude our scholarship presentations. In total this evening, 16 graduating students are eligible for $35,500 to further their dreams, and we thank very sincerely the following scholarship partners in the program: NBCC, St. Thomas University, University of New Brunswick Atlantic Business College, the Learning Bar, Central Branch of Retired Teachers, Nashwaaksis Lions Club, Crandall University, the Jen Brewer family, Skid Row Promotions, Elliot McRae Hill, Program 34 Jay Gallen, Nick Plimmer family, Pepsi, Eastern College, and Mount A. I should have been in radio and delivered that in 30 seconds as a commercial. We would also like to thank the following, who are also an integral part of this evening's program: Signature Sounds, outstanding job. Outreach Productions, again, outstanding. Keith Minchin, who is again a staple at these awards with his award-winning photography. Crown Plaza, of course, we love hosting this event in this venue. And Pepsi and Sarah for joining us year after year. Also, this program could not continue without the support of Brian Johnson of Kingswood. He envisions this as an opportunity, as we've heard throughout the night, right? Brian is a remarkable man, and to be in his shoes, I can't imagine what it would be like. But Brian does envision this as an opportunity to make a difference in the community and the lives of young people. And if you can make the difference, like he does, I just can't imagine how you must feel, especially after one of these award ceremonies. I can't look at you like a lot of the teachers couldn't look at their students. I can't look at you. So on behalf of everyone here tonight, I want to thank you very much. The other thing from my perspective, when I'm so close to the receiving line, is when every student walks off this stage and the first person that they see is Brian. He looks them right in the eye, and he always has a personal message for them. And I think if there's an opportunity for any of us to do that tonight to these kids, I mean, tonight, we're going to give you that opportunity, and I really want you to not be in a rush to get out of here, but to really, make your way through a receiving line that we're going to announce shortly. But Brian, this round of heartfelt thanks is for you and all of the work that you've done, your committee. It's just an exceptional event. It's inspirational, and you're making a difference in the lives of kids. And there's nothing better than that. Closing, if you could just give the students time to form the receiving line that I mentioned. They'll form the receiving line over by the exit, and then I please ask that you take a moment and offer words of encouragement and congratulate them on their achievements. Photos and video of tonight's ceremony can be found at www.kingswoodpark.ca under Turnaround Achievement Awards. That'll be up in the next coming weeks. And in parting, let me leave you with this quote by Charles Swindoll. I think it's in keeping with the quotes that have been mentioned throughout the evening. The longer I live, the more I realize the impact of attitude on life. Attitude to me is more important than facts. It's more important than the past, than education, than money, than circumstances, than failures, than successes, than what other people think or say or do. It is more important than appearance, giftedness, or skill. It will make or break a company, a church, a home. The remarkable thing is that we have a choice every day regarding the attitude that we will embrace for that day. We cannot change the inevitable. The only thing we can do is play on the one string we have, and that is our attitude. I'm convinced that life is 10% what happens to me and 90% how I react to it. And so it is with you. We are in charge of our attitudes, and that is what we saw here on stage tonight with all of these kids. Need I say more, except from my heart, you have been a fantastic audience. I've really